Greg is usually a fan of water cooler talk, but it's draft season, and that's all anyone wants to talk about. The Athletic has loads of articles about this year's draft, but Greg doesn't have The Athletic, so now he's filling up his water bottle in the bathroom sink, which, to remind you, is the sink people use after they use the bathroom. Get The Athletic and get the info you need to speak draft fluently.
Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
What's the deal, Panther fans? It's another Tuesday night where we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. OTAs begin. Dave Canales greeting everybody at the door like the kindergarten teacher. Everybody's happy. I, though, don't know any of the faces, though. Good God, I can't. Is bizarre looking at all these photos and going, who's that guy? Who's this motherfucker? I don't know, but we're going to get to know him. Just like we're going to get to know you in the chat. It's the longest running Panthers podcast, guys. Smash the thumbs up button. Be a part of the Panthers conversation. We do it every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. And I wouldn't do it without my wheelman, Cody Lack. How you doing, my friend?
Tony Dunn, we are post Eclipse, and we are happy that the end of the world has not occurred. That means there is still a chance the Panthers one day might be Super Bowl champions. We remain vigilant, and we look ever forward towards brighter days for the Carolina Panthers, baby. There's nowhere I'd rather be on a Tuesday night than sitting here with my boys, Tony Dunn, and the voice, Codizzle Allen, and the best damn Panther fans and all of YouTube. Tony, you know him and love him. It's our boy Panther Pickle, D's Ill Skills. What's up, boys? Daniel Berry Sports Highlight, Hemlock, Kevin Hubbard, Off the Porch Podcast. What's up, D? Panthers won, the real C3 AP, and the boy, 10 Tizzy. Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. It's another Tuesday night. Let's roll.
Let's roll. Thank you. I see a lot of C3 super fans in the chat. I see the brand ambassador. I'm glad he's got a little moderator tab to him. I'm glad 10 Tizzy moderator. I don't even know how we get these sometimes, but I need to make more of y'all. Y'all beautiful people.
Oh, I've been designating them, you know.
You? Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
bro.
I'm glad.
Bro, I'm promoting all the Legion, man. My Commander General is out here fighting the C3 war, baby. Let's go.
I love it. I love it. And we've got CK in the house, man. Good to see you. You're looking great. How you been?
Man, living the dream, as always. The funny thing about this week is there's so much that's not going on that tonight I'm just going to be playing a little bit of Rebirth on Call of Duty. So,
Dude, don't you do that every week?
No, I've been good about not doing it. I've been, because we've had stuff to talk about, but this week for sure I'm not. I'm
translation, barely paying attention to whatever Cody and Tony are arguing about.
It's all right. Sometimes people send me a message and be like, "Why don't you let CK talk?" Like, well, because then I would fucking have to shut up, asshole.
Well, and he's playing Call of Duty, man. Let him play. Let him frag out.
Yeah, dude, I'm on a 5 kill streak right now. Come on now.
Get it. Look, just a fun time. I'm happy to be here. I want to dedicate tonight's show to Joe Riolano, the co-founder of the Panthers podcast. I went to help Joey get from South Carolina to North Carolina. He's in the hospital right now. Whatever you think your health situation is, or just be thankful. Be thankful for every day you got. Joe Riolano grew up on Camp Lejeune, and I don't know if you guys have heard about all the problems that they had with the tainted water from that and these class action lawsuits. But Joe Riolano has carried a cross that is heavier than about anybody's, right? And I never think it's good to weigh one cross to another. Like, I don't think that's a helpful exercise. Who's got it worse?
Right.
But Joe Riolano is going through some real shit right now. And he's been going through real shit for 20 years. He has no kidneys. He's cancer survivor. He's a fighter, though. So I love you, Joe Riolano, my brother. It was a big day for him and a tough trip. He's in North Carolina, though, closer to me and permanent. So I get to be near my friend now. But look, just be thankful for what you got, folks. And there's people out there that are going through true suffering, right? So we love you, Joe Riolano. And to add to this poor guy's state, he's a Panthers fan.
Well, it isn't so poetic that our words come from someone who was battling cancer. Keep pounding.
Yeah.
And it really remains true that times, both in real life and on the football field, it's going to get hard. You're going to get beaten up, but you have to keep pounding. That's the only thing that we know how to do, man. We're Panther fans. Yeah. We're fighters, and all of our love and prayers and support to our brother Joe Riolano, man.
Yeah, man. So podcast, look, the podcast was started. If you guys are new to the show, we've been doing this podcast weekly since 2013. Started by Joe Riolano and myself. Really started as a website at CarolinaCatChronicles.com, but we were the first in on live broadcast. Not the first, but like we were doing this shit on Google Hangouts and stuff. But it was a way for us. We grew up together. He's like an older brother to me. We were roommates for a while. But he moved to Charleston, and football was a way for us to stay connected, right? So it's so easy to look. I love people, and I don't do enough for people. Like my mom lives in my own town, and I don't go over there and help her enough, right? So it's so easy to just get busy in life. And what we did is we continued to connect on Sundays. We would call each other at halftime, talk about the football game. Our first show was called a halftime hangout. And we would hang out live at halftime. And then after doing it twice.
Can you imagine now trying to do a show in 15 minutes?
Well, you know what? It really became clear that the shelf life on that show was 15 minutes.
Yeah.
like, who gives a shit about the first half on Tuesday? Yeah. But it was a great way for us to continue to stay connected. And, and I'm sorry for going off this path and deep into this path, but I think when you see all the people in the C3 Legion, when you see people putting the C3 tag up, when you see the community, and it started as a community for Joe and I keeping a friendship alive, and it's always just been that. And it's really great to see so many people just become true friends and care about each other.
Yeah.
Just over a common bond of Panther suffering. No, it was we started the 2013 season. We went 12-4 that year, and we were like, we were gonna start it the next year, and I was like, we got to strike with the iron hot, baby.
It looked like things were on the way up. Yeah.
Anyway.
And hey, since we're doing this, man, not to start on such a dour note, but things have been going around. My aunt passed away yesterday, and so it's been a tough time for everyone, man. For my family, it's been rough, man. So the fact that we're here to congregate every Tuesday night, man, it puts everything into perspective. Very thankful to be here with you boys. Cancer's terrible, man, and it's getting the best of us. That's for sure. But appreciate you boys, Tony, CK, love you, everyone in the chat. Happy to be here with y'all. Looking forward to doing another show tonight, man.
Yeah, tonight's show, Carolina Panthers begin OTAs. So we've got that to talk about. I know that the Friday Free-for-All crew got the good news of the Derrick Brown extension. We have to talk about Derrick Brown being the centerpiece, literally the centerpiece of the Panthers defense going forward, how that deal worked out for the Carolina Panthers, what Dan Morgan is doing in that process, as well as, let me see, there was one other thing that was non-Panther. Oh, I saw DJ Chark might be an Atlanta Falcon too. So we got some fun stuff to talk about. We might do a mock draft. I hate it, but CK, I'll do it for you. I'll do it for that voice right there. Tonight, OTAs begin. Cody, what do we got queued up? I think we've got a read first off, don't we?
We sure do, man.
All right.
Bet365.
All right. Tonight's show is sponsored by Bet365. North Carolina, Bet365 is offering new users $200 in bonus bets this month. To receive your bonus bets, all you have to do is sign up for Bet365 using our link. It's in the show notes. It's also posted right here, bit.ly/C365. That's bit.ly, bit.ly/C365. You can scan that QR code. It will take you there. And it's also in the show notes. Once you put in $10, you deposit $10, you place a $5 wager on any game. Once that bet settles, even if it's a loss, you'll receive $200 in bonus bets. To be eligible to sign up for this, you must sign up for the link. By using this link, you support the podcast. You also get those bonus bets. You can find that link in the episode description. Offer is available for new customers who are 21 and over. New customers, remember, and physically present in North Carolina. I've got to go sign up. I'm going to go sign up. But I learned my lesson on another site that we did last month. Make sure you place those bonus bets in the first week or you lose them. Because I'm not an over gambler. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just kind of like the little dabble, do. But make sure you've got 10 days or whatever it is. Make sure you read those terms and use those, parlay it up and make some loot. Help us out. The more, if you sign up, just sign up and put $10 up there. Do it just for us. It helps us continue to bring in sponsors throughout the season. Cody Lack, OTAs are a happening, but I want to ask this first to the audience. And let's see, I hope you uploaded the revised PowerPoint. I did it about 20 minutes before. What's next?
We have next on.
Is it not up there? Damn you, Cody. You were even in it when I made the slide.
Well, yeah, you know what happened? I was in here early, and I uploaded it early, thinking we were ahead of schedule.
Okay.
Hey, man, no big deal, bro. No big deal.
I know
bro.
it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all.
You're professional, baby. Give me some time while I upload the other one.
So let's see. Dave Canales, happy smiley.
How about this, Tony? We haven't even gotten to what we reacted to on Friday. Do you want to start with Derrick Brown, or did you want to start with something in particular?
I hate this about the show sometimes.
Oh shit, wrong one.
Oh, there it is.
Well, it didn't. Go ahead.
I hate this about the show, or myself. It's not the show I hate. Is that so? I created a Panthers Twitter account, which I use as my personal one, but it's for the podcast. It's got something like 7,000 followers. I'm following 5. But like 89%, 95% of the people that I follow, 98% are all Panther fans. So like when I pull up Twitter, it's just it's wonderful. It's like the best experience. But I'm up there so much. We're doing so many pods that by Tuesday, this news broke on Thursday of last week. Yeah. This feels like a million years ago, but I have to remember that the listeners might not be in that same space right here. The Carolina Panthers, though.
Which is also a reason why they should listen to the Friday Free for All every Friday at 7 p.m. where you can hear me and the boys react in real time. But yeah, this is the first opportunity for you and CK. Go ahead, Tony.
So the Carolina Panthers announced that they had reached an extension. Now, this is going into the 5th year. This would be going into Derrick Brown was Marty Herney's first pick, 2020, right? 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024 would have been his 5th season. So you had him on a 5th year option. Very similar to what you were going through with Brian Burns last year. And he had a career year. Right. I mean, he was one of the most standout defensive tackles in the league. He led the team in tackles or something like that, or led the league in tackles for some, whatever that stat was. The Carolina Panthers, though, have been in tense negotiations with Brian Burns for a long time. For 2 years, we've been dealing with that discussion. And many wondered, as Derrick Brown, some people floated the idea that he could be traded for various things. But we had heard from Dan Morgan about 2 weeks ago that they were in discussions with his agent. And then on Thursday, the news broke that the Panthers decided to extend defensive tackle Derrick Brown for a 4-year deal. I think it's $96 million, $64 million guaranteed. I got to pull up the terms. Obviously, we're well prepared.
I have it right here, man. So Derrick Brown is signing a 4-year, $96 million extension that includes $63.165 million guaranteed. The deal was negotiated by his agent, Drew Rosenhaus. Yeah, man, Panthers execs Dan Morgan and Brant Tillis. So Brant Tillis is somebody who I feel also deserves a little bit of credit for this and, how we're moving with these in relation to these contracts. But, yeah, it's not surprising. We sort of heard inklings that they were going to do this. And I feel like this is the member of the Panthers D-line that should have been paid. I feel like he was the most important member. Everything runs through him. And our defense in the foreseeable future, is going to be built around Derrick Brown.
Well, his resume and his play on the field have given plenty of reasons for him to be a player that you want to keep on the team, right? I mean, he's gotten better from year to year. There was this weird contingent of Panther fans that they try not to say that they said this, but like in year 2, they were talking shit about Derrick Brown. There was a group of people that was talking junk about Derrick Brown in year 2. And you can go back and check the receipts on this podcast and me saying, come on, chill out, folks. He's getting, man, it's like all of this stuff. But his resume and his performance on the field alone warrant the extension. But there's a lot of reasons this was the right deal for the Carolina Panthers to make, because number one, instead of Brian Burns. And maybe it's not an either or, but if it is an either or, this was the right one. And what it has to do with here is the position that he plays commands less money, right? It commands less money of your salary cap. So you're getting a premier player at a premier position, but that position group does not command the number on average. Look, Brian Burns benefited from the inflationary spiral or whatever the fuck is going on with the hyperinflation that went on with Bosa and all of these guys getting paid. Derrick Brown did not benefit from that as much. Chris Jones just signed a crazy big deal, but it's pretty clear to everybody that Chris Jones is a different type of defensive tackle than Derrick Brown is. Not to say Derrick Brown doesn't impact the game in big ways, but this is a more reasonable position to pay. And I think we saw that across the board when you saw who they signed in free agency. They signed guards. Yes, they paid premium money for premium guards, but those position groups do not cost as much as ends or tackles. And in this case, the end. The other thing that I think that was very important about this deal was that the Carolina Panthers and maybe Dan Morgan decided that they learned a little bit from the Brian Burns situation. And that is, can we try to get this taken care of before OTAs, before training camp, before things get A, tense between two parties, and B, where you start getting backed into a corner? I've always talked about paying players that you believe in a hair earlier than you have to, because you get to beat a little inflation. So I want to say Dan Morgan, watching from what went wrong with the Brian Burns negotiations, may have lent towards the Derrick Brown signing.
Yeah, and I love the point that you made, too. I mean, Dan Morgan, he was there when we botched this Brian Burns thing, where it's like we wanted to keep him around, and we had offers to trade him, and yet didn't trade him, then ultimately settled for less later on down the road. You can't do that. You either pay your talent or you let them go and flourish with other teams. And, it's yet to see what Brian Burns will do as a Giant, but knowing how everything just continues to get more and more expensive from, just about every player position in the NFL, knowing how expensive defensive tackles are, you're getting ahead of the curve, man. So I think in a few years, even though $98 million is no little
96
change, or 96, still, man, that's a lot of money that in a few years it might not look that bad, though.
CK, your thoughts on putting the big man in the middle?
Dude, are we talking about moving him to nose tackle?
I'm just saying paying the guy to be he's the centerpiece.
Yeah,
he is the guy that you're going to build the defense around now.
I mean, I think that this is a great signing. I think that we've all been on board. I don't think that there's a lot of Derrick Brown haters. People weren't really super impressed with his rookie campaign, but every year since, the dude has just been a stalwart. And at this point in time, you're right. I think the Brian Burns situation informed them on the best way to move forward with Derrick Brown, and at the same time find a way to save cap space this year. So.
Yeah, and here's the last point about the contract that I want to discuss or mention is, look, Drew Rosenhaus ain't fucking around. This is the OG of OG agents. Like, he made the game of what agents are, right? And it might not say this, but this is really a $96 million guaranteed contract. And what I mean by that is, is that if you have to pay $63 million over 4 years, right? So the way guaranteed money works is you divide it over the life of the contract as long as they're on the team. So as long as they don't cut them, they can prorate it equally per year. If they cut him or trade him, it accelerates it immediately. So you're talking $17 million a year for him. Right? So you pay 17 plus the salary, 17 plus the salary. Now they can move that salary and massage a little bit towards the end. But if you're getting in year 4 and you got to pay him $17 million and he's only making $4 million in a salary, you're still paying him. You're going to keep him. So kudos. I promise you this, or actually I don't promise you. Let's go back in 4 years and let's see what the percentage of the contractual money that Derrick Brown actually earned. And I bet you it's going to be 100%. I bet money on this. It's ultimately a fully guaranteed contract unless for some reason his play declines to where you're just ready to eat $17 million in dead money his final year. So I'm happy for Derrick Brown. I like to see that these contracts are, I think we're starting to see 2 contracts that are more transparent than they were 15 years ago. Sure. So 15 years ago, this contract would have been for $160 million, but he would have only made 66.
Do you think that maybe there's any chance in the future that Derrick Brown becomes more of a threat rushing the passer? Or have we seen what Derrick Brown is? He's the monster in the middle, and he lets everyone else be able to work with those one-on-one matchups. What do you see for the future of Derrick Brown?
I do not see Derrick Brown as a one-trick run-stop pony. I see Derrick Brown, though, on a team where nobody could stop the run, and that's what you did. So, no, I firmly believe that. Now, can he be a guy that's like his goal is to be a pass rusher? I think his sack numbers can go up. Mm-hmm. I don't think that he is just a run stuffer. I think he is we've seen him throw fuckers around, right? We've seen him body slam dudes. He's not slow. I think the problem is that if you want to talk about Brian Burns only getting 8 sacks because of the people around him, let's talk about that for fucking Derrick Brown. So you put some other people around him. I think that, he can do his numbers, his productivity. I don't necessarily bank on it, But no, I don't think he's a Star Lotulelei. I think he's more of a cross between Star Lotulelei and KK than just a straight up run stuffer.
Yeah. Well, the thing with those two is I think that they benefited heavily from each other, right? Whereas I think that KK without Star Lotulelei was never the same.
You're right. Exactly.
You know,
and so Matt, we need to see Derrick Brown with talent beside him.
Yeah, I think that's a wild difference that you're going to see with Derrick Brown when he's no longer the only person that can eat up space on the interior.
And last year too, we saw some weird signs when it came to the Panthers transition from a 4-3 to a 3-4. Who was the guy that we all liked that got cut right in training camp? He was a defensive tackle. He was the biggest defensive tackle on the team
last year.
Yeah, he got
Nixon.
No,
it was the other guy. It wasn't
Bravion Roy.
No, oh gosh,
it wasn't Love. It wasn't Love?
No,
that was years before. But remember, Mike K came on and said, "Oh, I think this guy could fit in this system, right? Because they don't have a true zero tech." Right. And this is the fat boy. And then we went lean. We went kind of lean on the line.
McCall.
There it is. Thank you, D'Angelo, the legend. McCall. So I think it made Derrick Brown have to play more of even a super interior player. You know, and if you could get a more traditional, if you could get a Vince Wilfork type guy beside Derrick Brown, I think he could be. Look, I think he gets 6 sacks in a season.
That's not bad. I mean, considering he hasn't,
what says most he's gotten so far? 2, 4. I'll look it up.
4. Yeah, but listen, I'm happy for Derrick Brown. I do think you're right. I think this is going to look much better in a couple of years, and the Panthers continue to build. Continue to give Ejiro Rivera some of that confidence in the roster that he's going to have going forward.
He had 3 sacks. He had 3 sacks in his second year, so I think he could be a 5-sack player. I don't think that's out of the question. Why do you say it like that? In a few years, though,
what do you mean?
Why do you say it like it's going to be a deal? Like, to me, this doesn't seem like an overpay. Does it feel like that? Or is that what the word has been? Like, oh my God.
No, I just know that there is a school of thought that when you compare his sack production to the other defensive tackles that he's compared against, he doesn't quite have those types of numbers.
Well, who are they? There's only 2, and they are anomalies.
Dexter Lawrence, Aaron.
Okay.
Dexter Lawrence, Aaron Jones, and Quinnen Williams for the New York Jets.
Okay, let's see. Dexter Lawrence had 4.5 sacks in 2023.
Okay. So again, that's sort of relative
career. He has had 21. I just don't think he is a guy that you should say like Chris. First, I just feel like Chris
Jones. I meant Chris Jones.
Chris Jones, and then the other is the guy that just retired.
Oh, Aaron Donald.
Right. Like those are freak players. Quinnen Williams. How do you spell Quinnen?
Q-U-I.
Oh, I got it here. Let's see what he did. Last year he had 5.5 sacks.
But then the year before.
Let's see, why is it not showing this whole? Showing this when I put Derrick Brown's name and show me his whole fucking career.
Then there was another defensive tackle. I think Justin Madubuike for the Baltimore Ravens, who I believe had 10 plus last year. So again, there are other defensive tackles that rush the passer and get to the quarterback at a higher clip. And again, it's situational because I'm not saying that all those dudes come to the Carolina Panthers and then do the same thing. I think it's also situational. That's part of the reason why I brought up to you, is there any room for Derrick Brown to kind of grow into more of a pass rusher in the defense?
I think without a doubt is the look, is that if you're trying to sit here and argue to, not you, but like
Yeah.
everybody argue to me that the reason that Brian Burns isn't Nick Bosa is because of the people around him, then I can say that the 2 sacks difference between Quinnen Williams and Derrick Brown are because of the people around him. You know? So yeah, I don't have any question about Derrick Brown's ability to be more disruptive. It's just like, man, nobody got home last year. So no, I'm fine with this. I'm happy with this. I like defensive tackles though. So that's what I got to say about it. We'll chat. You tell us what you think. You can call it at 252-228-5098. I want to start this off because OTA started today, Cody. And I always like to say this is what does, and I'm going to ask the listeners, here's a little trivia question for you. And I know half of you football guys, because the people that listen to the C3 Panthers podcast are the salt of the earth football fans. They're the football of footballist fans. If you're going to listen to a 3-hour show each week in the offseason, you know you love some Carolina Panthers. What does OTAs stand for? Option A, off-season training activities. B, organized team activities. C, optional training activities. We'll ask you guys in the chat. You guys can say it. It's a fun thing to talk about because for a long time, I didn't know what it meant. And I better make sure that I didn't fuck it up too. OTAs means. So
seeing a lot of B's in the chat. Lots of B's.
Yes. Okay. Right. Yes. The answer is B, organized team activities. For a long time, I just assumed it meant off-season training activities or right. I just thought it meant off-season or then for a long time, I thought it meant optional because these are not mandatory.
Yeah. They are technically optional. So you're not wrong.
Yeah. So the teams are only allowed, according to the current CBA, to have one mandatory mini camp. Now they can have one mandatory veteran meeting thing or something like this, but this is completely optional, but it means organized team activities. And the Carolina Panthers have begun organized team activities 2 weeks ahead of other teams. You know why?
Why's that?
Because they got a new coach. That's one of the things is new coaches are afforded an earlier opportunity to meet with their teams and get to know the players and practice with this. And here is happy, smiley Dave Canales dapping up cats. Look, it's the kindergarten teacher. Welcome everybody
fellas. Yes, sir.
Dude, he literally does have the energy of like a brand new 5th grade teacher, man. Like your social studies
kindergarten. It's a kindergarten teacher.
You ready to roll?
This is how Pete Carroll is, though.
How you doing? What's up, big fella? What's going on, Dan? Doing good, man? Good. What's going on, baby? Good?
Look, wait until you.
What's happening? You all right?
He does it with everyone, dude.
Yeah, but wait till Terrace Marsh. When have we seen Bryce Young yet?
Hey, nice
Not yet.
Yeah.
He hugs Bryce Young like his like little fucking
See you, bro.
child.
What's going on, Ashton?
It's Sean Robinson.
No.
That's a big human being.
Yes, sir. What's up, man? Good?
Yo, he's got the arms, man. This dude
He
yo,
is fucking D's, dude.
What's up, Juba?
bro. No wonder homeboy was getting around. You know what
When
I'm
he
saying?
sees Bryce Young, all right, hold on. We'll watch it one more time. Hold on.
We'll
Wait
watch
till
it
you
one
see
more
the
time.
Bryce Young because he's just giving people fives, right? Fives. But then when Bryce comes in, he
There it is. There's Bryce.
Here comes the hug. Watch. This gets huggy.
Bam.
And look, now he realizes I gotta hug everybody. Watch.
Let's go.
Terrace Marshall don't know who you are. now he moves to hugs. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I hug my favorite student, but I gotta make sure that the other students don't think entirely that he's my favorite student.
Dude, I love the energy, man. Like we haven't had this. We did not get that with old Frank the Tank last year. Didn't really bring a lot of energy or excitement. We know Fat Fool did not bring a lot of energy or excitement.
Did you see him?
Dude, I don't know. I saw.
We have to watch it. We gotta watch it. We're watching it tonight, folks.
Dude.
Matt Rhule talking about Bill Belichick came and visited the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And he's talking about Bill Belichick and his visit. Please go. It's on at Salesman. Salesman is got the best tweet about it. Here, I'll send it to you in the direct chat. But your thoughts about the Carolina Panthers beginning OTAs, organized team activities, Dave Canales, new coach, new day, new dawn. They get to do no padded practices, but they get to do, I think 7 on 11s or 11 on 7s or whatever what it is, and they can work. They can put in work. And in the past, we've heard about them trying to install stuff. This probably is crash course Bryce Young and the offense. Let's try to figure out what we got here.
Right.
Yeah, I'm happy for it too, man. But this is where it starts. Getting the team on the same page, getting the coaches on the same page, getting everyone to buy into your vision before you draft the rest of your rookies that are going to complete your team. I mean, I think we're moving in the right direction. Again, it's hard to know what they're being told, but I like the additions that we've made. I think that we've done a good job to fill a lot of holes, but we still have more holes to fill, Tony, and that's something else we're going to need to talk about. You want to take some calls?
I do want to take some calls right now. Let's do it.
Let's do it. The number is. Go ahead.
You did it. All right, I'll do it. The number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Call into the C3 Panthers podcast. Be a part of the Cat Calls. Let us know what you think about the Derrick Brown signing, about OTAs, about the favorite kid in school, and about our dapper and happy smiley coach, Dave Canales. Let's go.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Calling in, and I just wanted to talk about a few things. Obviously, we got Derrick Brown extended. I think that's the biggest move of the offseason so far. I'm sure that's the biggest topic of the show so far. I think that shit got done last Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously, everyone gonna get their opinion about that. I think it's great. We got him up out the way right now, even while he still had one extra year, his 5th-year option on his rookie year deal. So what we got, like 4 more years, 3-4 more years, some shit like that. Y'all tell me the math. But this is the main thing I wanted to bring up in this show, actually. So out of all the off-season trades that happened this past off-season, it looks to me like Brian Burns accumulated the most draft capital in return, or at least the best overall pick, the 39th pick from the Giants. Guys like L'Jarius Sneed, arguably the best corner, went for a 3rd. Keenan Allen for a 4th. Stephon Diggs went for a 2nd next year, not even this year. But so in terms for per player value, it looks like Brian Burns got the best pick available. So is that a boost to Dan Morgan? What y'all think about that? Should we credit Dan Morgan for that, or is it just maybe positional value and age and more of that shit rather than Dan being able to get the best bang for his buck? Let me hear what y'all think about that. Any words on that shit? I think Dan Morgan's done a great job this offseason at just being able to manage what he can do and put us in the best position possible without doing too much, not spending too much money, not giving up draft capital, not doing none of that bullshit. He's trying to put us in the best position possible. Really a Dan Morgan question. So yeah, let me know how y'all feel about Dan and the off-season moves so far. And keep pounding. Fuck yeah, we got Derrick Brown.
CK, do you think that Dan Morgan did a good job relative to what other trades were able to go for?
Yeah, I mean, again, I've been saying this with all of these trades. Like the Panthers are the ones that got fleeced with Brian Burns. Like you saw Stephon Diggs go for nothing, and he lost the majority of his contract with that trade. Meaning that the Texans didn't, even really have to eat the majority of his contract. So it was kind of an easy trade for them. What was the other major trade that happened? Because it was like wild.
What team?
I can't remember.
The Green Bay Packers, I believe. No, who was the corner that went to the Bears? Oh, no, he stayed with the Bears. Oh, the Darius Sneed, the corner.
Oh, went to the Titans.
Yeah, I believe that's right. Right?
Well,
he was with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. And Reddick is with who now?
The Jets.
Oh, man. God, them motherfuckers are loaded.
I know, man.
Do you see the weird thing floating around that people are like, oh, Reddick was chasing sacks?
Yeah, that's why Philly didn't want him. Yeah, no shit. That's what you're supposed to do.
They weren't fucking crying about that when he had 18 the year before.
And dude, that's why I was fucking pounding the table for him to come back. Dude, because I had to come and chase sacks over here for the Panthers, bro.
Like, I mean, and here's the thing is that if that is your way of just saying he's not tremendous against the run, that's a shitty way to say it. You know, is that like that just means this is what you get when you draft edge players, bro. That's what you get when you get a Brian Burns. Sorry, is that's their weakness. You know, and
hunters.
And you have to, and Reddick even more so. I don't know. That just to me seemed like some sour grape ass Philly fans being bitches.
Well, apparently it's not even the fans. It came from beat reporters that were hearing shit from the team. That the team was mad that he was chasing sacks. So, dude, that's stupid, man.
Which is wild because the year before, when he had 18, I think it was 18. It was either 16 or 8. I think it was 18. They were interviewing the defensive coordinator who then went to be Jonathan Gann, whoever went to the Cardinals. And they were like, oh, he could have probably had 24 if I would have let him just go, but I dropped him into coverage so much. You know, and here's the thing with the Philly beat writers then that I find this is to be distasteful, or the fans or whoever is fucking putting these rumors out. They had Matt Patricia as their defensive. They went through their defense was a fucking mess from the coaching standpoint all season long. You know, they fired a coordinator at one point. Then they put Patricia in. He was about to get fired. Then it got a little better. It was a fucking disaster from the coaching stand. And I feel like that is damage control in a way. You know, and I don't know, what is it that Reddick, why does Reddick get caught in this? Every team.
I think Philly has a toxic culture. Like there are some teams that just
Arizona didn't want him. Then he gets fucking 12 sacks with us. Then we fucking let him go. Then the Philly lets him go. He can't find a home.
I don't know, man. He's seen as like a fighter for hire, you know. He bounces around to the highest bidder. And I think that's his MO, is that he's chasing those sacks and those numbers. So to a lot of other teams, he's like, we can do with him or without him, because he's good for that one thing, that speed rush, and he's super fast and he's super aggressive. And maybe that leads him to not want to be as good in the run defense. I don't know. Maybe he's not a team player but then it's all rumors, man. All these rumors
Philly paid him a big deal when he left Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, well, and that's the thing is I don't know. To me, it just seems like an odd decision to have him be gone. Yeah, it was the Hassan Reddick trade that is just, it's just one that is mind-boggling to me. I don't think that his contract wasn't enough to make you feel like you need to get offload this.
Right.
But I mean, hey, man, he's going to the Jets, and I think that it's going to be an interesting situation there, right? Because now you have Brian Burns in New York, you have Hassan Reddick in New York, and on two different teams, both defenses are going to be considered breakout defenses. I mean, obviously, Jets have been a good defense, but so this will be an interesting comparison between what Brian Burns and Hassan Reddick has done. I'll be honest, you can say that Hassan Reddick is chasing sacks all you want, but
that's why you have him.
I watched those games, and that dude was winning games for them, many of those games that they won, right?
And for us, I mean, not
Right.
winning a ton of games, but like, I just think it's weird. You just kind of wonder if we started really to get into the contractual parts of what the Eagles are dealing with. Maybe this has more to do with the Hurts contract roosting a little bit, or coming home to roost, the AJ Brown contract. You know, it's not just his play that dictates you're trying to figure out, but the Jets wanted him. I hope he goes and hunts for the fucking Jets. Watch out, man. If Aaron Rodgers, I don't know. I don't want to. I think the Jets win that division.
Maybe. I mean,
it's
right
the
now
Dolphins, but the Dolphins are going through so much turnover.
I need to see it. They're the darlings. Now last year they're going to be that this year. They went and got Mike Williams. They went and got Hassan Reddick. They've already got Quinnen Williams. Like, they've got pieces over there, man. But
they got the Garrett Wilson, bro.
The problem is you're depending on a 41-year-old quarterback to come in and be your savior. Yeah. So you're going to have to hope that he's going to be healthy, or else they're going to tear the whole thing down and have to build it up all over again. Like, they're cashed out.
He's 40 years old. He just turned 40. But I don't feel like this. We saw him throwing the football. He's older, but I don't think he's deteriorated older in the shoulder. Like,
right.
I hear you. But at the same time,
I like Aaron Rodgers. Yeah,
I mean,
I think that the fucking media had a heyday with him during COVID, and that they've used him as a punching bag for the shit. And now you hear Then the other thing is that people hate, the media hates you when they're fucking putting you with they try to link them now to the guy that remember the guy that had to pay the big settlement, Aaron saying the Sandy Hook was
Alex
Jones. Yeah, so recently the most recent thing about Aaron Rodgers is that Aaron Rodgers, like, some players are trying to report that Aaron Rodgers asked these guys, do you think 9/11 was fake or conspiracy? Can't say fake, bro. I mean, I know that is the fucking towers are not there no more, but there were people that believed that George Bush orchestrated it and shit like this.
Dude, you'd be surprised, man.
Anyway, he is.
Hey, bro, don't get me started, bro. Let's not talk about Tower 7, okay? That's a different pod, dude. Different pod.
Well, Aaron Rodgers will come on that podcast, but I feel like this is another example of us wanting to get to know players, and then when you get to know them, you're like, fuck, I wish you were cooler. And so the media is always wanting players to open up. And then Aaron Rodgers is yeah, I smoked peyote and fucking slept in a dark room for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I do think it's stupid that he tries to get canceled for his beliefs and saying the things that he says. It really lets you show that mainstream media, they're allowed with only a certain few schools of thought. And then if you adhere to something different, you're demonized. At the end of the day, you shouldn't be getting your opinions on any of that shit from a football player. You should be using the internet to do your own research and understanding what really is the facts and the truth of the matter.
What about the comedian, the stand-up comedian? This irritated me. The guy who hosts
Jimmy Kimmel. Dude,
remember when he went after him because he said he was going to sue him for libel? But he's going to sue Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers kept saying his name was I can't wait to see the list. All these motherfuckers coming after me.
Because there was one point in time where Jimmy Kimmel was making fun of people who believed in this list of just and it was all true.
When a comedian can't take it.
He's such a hypocrite, dude. How are you?
Did you hear the guy that Matt Rife?
Yeah, Matt Rife is hilarious.
I love him. He's funny. He's great. Supposedly, he wants to sue this other comedian because this other comedian said the reason that he's had this star power is because he sucked this dude's dick or whatever. And I hate when comedians fucking fold on their own thing. It's like you dish it out. You go to those stand-up things, and we got to take.
Don't claim to be a
rib.
free speech warrior and
Yeah.
then get offended when someone says some dumb shit, man. That's
And you
not...
know, with them big old lips, that everybody's going to be saying that about Matt Rhule. All right, you're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast, brought to you by Carolina Cat Chronicles. Let's just go to Anthony in Charlotte.
What's up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Hope y'all boys are having a good Tuesday. Just calling in. Driving through this rainstorm right now. That eclipse yesterday was very overhyped, but that's not the point of this call. Just wanted to say that first off, I'm very happy we extended Derrick Brown. I kept calling in for weeks and saying, the one thing I want to see Dan do the rest of this offseason was extend Derrick Brown. He did. And whatever you feel about the Brian Burns situation, the right move is to always pay your good players early. We did this with Cam Newton. We did this with Luke Kuechly. We did this with DJ Moore. So that way the deal looks better and better as the years go on. Derrick Brown is a very young player, 25 years old. Still got a lot to improve on. And he's just ascending as a player, which is something great to see. I mean, I think if this guy can really get his pass rush up, he is going to be a dominant elite player, which I already think he is an elite D tackle. But on to the next, the draft's coming up. It's kind of a dead period in the NFL right now. Just got to wait. I think there's less than 20 days to the draft, 19 to be exact. So that's awesome to see. Dave Canales, I love how he was greeting all those players yesterday. It seems like he cares, and you're going to be like, well, shouldn't he care? I mean, he's making millions of dollars for coaching an NFL team. Yes, obviously, but it seems like he's trying to emotionally connect with these players, get them all on the same page, and get them to buy in. Another thing, it's kind of funny to see Jadeveon Clowney at an OTAs when he was on the video. He was like, damn, I haven't done this in 6 years. It's probably about to be so different. But, that could be a real big positive for him to get into the game early this time. Maybe that helps take off some of the rust in the beginning of the season that he may have. You never know. But on to the draft, I'm just going to be as simple as this. I really don't care what position they take. I just think they should go best player available. And the more I'm thinking about it, take a receiver. I don't think it's the end of the world. I think at the offense, if we can run the ball a lot, and with the upgrade of Deontay Johnson, maybe see Jonathan Mingo take a step, I think it could be better. I said this before. I think if the offensive line gives Bryce time to throw, I think he'll be able to find open guys. But this leads me into my next thing. I was looking today at some of the cap, the way they structured Derrick Brown's contract, and the cap is only $6 million this season, which tells me they're trying to save a bunch of money for next season. Hold on, I'll call you guys back real quick.
All right. Well, while you do that, I am going to pull up the Derrick Brown contract disbursement details and see what we can get here. By the way, I think this is a personal preference. I think over the cap is far better than spot rack, guys. I think spot rack minds a lot of over the cap stuff. So this is my favorite. This is who I generally go to. Derrick Brown would be. Now, the other thing, too, that you have to remember in this extension, or maybe not you have to remember, because I don't know how this shit works. I just have been looking at it for 10 years. He did have this year's income. Right. I mean, he was under contract. So while you sign an extension, if you're Derrick Brown, you also want to sign an extension with the idea of this year's income not being completely lost. Right. And that like you're just reducing income. But look at this is that 2024, he counts nothing against the cap. $6 million. He gets a prorated sign-in bonus of $5 million, 1.1, just like Anthony was saying. Guaranteed salary, $1.6 million. Next year, that number is going to jump to $19 million. 2026, 24, 2027, 28. And then 2029, this is where it looks like if you cut him in 2029, you would only eat $5 million. So while maybe I spoke too quickly in saying that I believe that 100% of his contract would be paid. But I think if he's performing well at 30 years old, that $29 million won't feel like as much, number one. But two, you're probably thinking about, can we restructure, extend at that point? And I like this contract for Derrick Brown too, because if he can he wants to sign another deal. He doesn't want to play that last year under this deal. He wants to get to be 29 years old, playing like one of the household names. And the Panthers saying this is, let's talk about getting you in, keeping you in the building for 3 more years.
Yeah. By the way, I read this during the free-for-all. This is from Albert Breer. Maybe this might be a little more insight. Panthers defensive tackle Derrick Brown lands a 4-year, $96 million extension with $41.165 million fully guaranteed, and some 2026 money, $13 million vesting in 2025. He'll get $49 million over the first 2 years and $72 over the first 3.
Yeah, and that's how you kind of look at it, is that the way it's dispersed. And I would, if I was a player, I want to be thinking about the percentage of money of a contract I actually earn. I also want to be I like this idea. I think this is a good deal for Derrick Brown, because if I'm a player, I want to get to a second contract.
Yes.
Like if this was a 5-year deal, it would have been more money. Right. I mean, yeah, you get more money. The Panthers would have had to.
You know what David Gettleman would call it? He would always call it your first kick of the can.
Yes.
But that was your
first.
But
the second kick of the can is good.
The first kick.
But you want a second kick. That's what I'm saying.
But that's what he's saying. But that's what he's saying. Now, under the new contract agreement, your second contract is your first kick of the can. That's when you first.
So you call this his second.
Yeah. So
I call this his first. All right, I see what you're saying.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even though it is his second, it's the first time he really gets to take advantage of his worth and his value.
The only reason a super long deal benefits a player is if they get hurt or if their play declines. Right. Yeah. And so, and it's understandable. It's like, look, as most players don't continue to have a tremendous, look at Cam Newton. You know, I mean, just think about Cam Newton is toast of the fucking town, greatest fucking thing in my life.
You want to talk about that? Did you see what Cam Newton did? Why he was in the news?
No, he's in the news. But here is the reason you signed the long deal, the big deal, is because even if you're Cam Newton, you might not be in the league. But there are some players that have an ability to stay elite for a long time. And the guy that really did this, who was that corner that he played for Tampa Bay for a while? Darrelle Revis. Revis would sign 2-year deals. And he wouldn't sign anything more. And you'd be like, why? He's like, because I'm going to fucking renegotiate in 2 years. All right, what's Cam doing here?
No, so Cam Newton was at a park somewhere, or he was somewhere, and he saw these kids outside playing catch. And he just decided to go and some random kids at a park somewhere. Just a classic good guy Cam, going to have some fun and make some memories for some kids. So that was pretty cool.
Oh man, okay. This reminds
me babbling brook in the background, in case anyone needs to pee.
So I watched this movie the other day. It was called The Others, I think. It's got the dude from it he was in True. What was that vampire shit? True Blood.
True
All
Blood.
right. So he was like the main dude in that, not the tall guy that was the Viking dude that went on to do a lot. Anyway, his name was Bill, I think, or something. He's in this movie. And so my wife, though, figures this fucking movie out in the first 5 minutes, which was awesome, but also irritating, you know, because it's kind of like The Village, and she just picked it up, and it was great. I was like, damn, Randy, you fucking nailed it from the beginning. But anyway, this kid, and spoiler alert, close your ears if you want to.
What movie is this?
It's called The Others. That's what it's called, or The Others, or The Outsiders. No, it might be The Outsiders.
Okay.
And not the recent one, not the old one. It is a 2023 film. I think this is, hold on. You know who's in it is Alicia Silverstone.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see if I can find it that way. Alicia Silverstone. Outsider movie. Sorry, guys. Outsiders. Oh, it's called Last Survivors. That's what it's called. Last Survivors. But they call the people outsiders throughout the movie. All right. So anyway, here, spoiler alert. All right. But I got to tell you why this is related to Cam Newton. So all of a sudden, this guy is like, it's set up like supposedly in this post-apocalyptic world, and this dude and his son are living in the fucking middle of the Seattle Redfoot, like the woods in the middle of nowhere. And they're like self-sustaining, and he's like, the dad's super wary of these outsiders, and he's like, kill them on first sight and shit. It's like bananas.
Stay gold outsider.
No, it's called the Last Survivors.
Oh, okay.
Last Survivors. So, anyway, the kid grows up in this isolated moment. You know what I'm saying? And his dad gets hurt. He needs to go get these antibiotics. So he goes, the dad tells him to go where this farm is, and he can go steal them. He's like, don't fuck with anybody, kill everybody. He's like very weird about it. My wife was, from the first moment, she goes, there was no post-apocalyptic. This guy's just living out here in the middle of the woods telling his kid that the world is all fucked up. So anyway, this kid who has lived, he's about 25 years old, and he's lived in isolation his whole life. Nothing. Like, you don't have nothing. This guy ends up losing his virginity to Alicia Silverstone.
Oh, that's not a bad way.
Well, you're younger than me. CK is younger than me, so you won't really get this. But Alicia Silverstone.
No. Did you always think that me and CK are younger than we are?
No.
We remember when she was hot as hell.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. It's just like the timing. You know how you like that girl from the Euphoria shit or whatever?
Zendaya. Yeah.
So Alicia Silverstone was in this
Batman.
music video, Aerosmith's
Yes.
What was it? Crazy, I think. And then she was the 13-year-old's wet dream. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting here watching this movie. I'm like, this motherfucker living in the woods. He comes out and he bangs Alicia Silverstone, and that's his first lay. That to me is like catching like Cam Newton coming up and throwing football with you. It's like you're 8 years old and Cam Newton comes up and tosses the football with you.
Dude, I probably started puberty when I saw her in Batman Beyond. Is that what it was?
Oh my god, that's so late. You're so late,
dude. Oh my god, you're so
no. You got to go back.
Whatever. She was always hot.
No, her
even
and,
when I was coming up, she was hot.
Yes, but
Clueless, dude, Clueless. That's an all-time classic, man.
I understand, but this music video she did, it was her and Liv Tyler. Is it Liv or Liz Tyler?
Liv.
And they're in it, and it's just like, I mean, I was probably 12 years old, and it's just like, this is the apex of women And now you look back at it and she's like not that great. But I was still just irritated that this guy lived in the woods and he didn't even realize that he got the 13-year-old 1991, 93 or whatever it was. It was awesome. Anyway, that's Cam Newton walking up to you. That's the equivalent of Cam Newton walking up and playing catch football at the park with you. Is
good for them, man.
Smashing Alicia Silverstone in her 50s. I wonder what she is now. Let's go to the next call.
All right, so I'm back. So real quick, a couple people were floating around on Twitter the way they structured his contract.
She's 47. She's
it seems like they want to have a lot of money for next year, and this leads into my point about why I don't really care if they don't take a wide receiver at this point. I know everyone's been arguing about that. Which wide receiver do we take? Blah, blah, blah. But I really think it's best player available is the question we need to be asking ourselves, which I've been saying that for weeks. But I think that, if they don't take a wide receiver, I don't think it's the end of the world because I think that they're going to have a lot of cap space next year where if you look on the books, a lot of wide receivers are going to be free agents or going to potentially get the franchise tag. I think they would rather go after a guy like that than worry about, a potential wide receiver at 33 because you're not going to get your pick of the litter as much as, there's going to be some wide receivers available. If they aren't strongly convicted on that wide receiver at pick 33 or 39, then just take the best player available and fill out the rest of the roster. I think they're trying to save some money, again, for next season, potentially sign a big-name wide receiver there. And I'm all for it, man. Honestly, we don't know what's going to happen. Draft day is always crazy. They could be making a trade. I remember last year they were in talks to potentially move up to, pick 20 to take Jackson Smith-Njigba. I remember Will Kunkel was saying something about that. So you never know, man. But I think overall Dan's done a solid job. I think we should just hold our heads high. I'm not saying we're going to go to the playoffs. I'm not saying any of that. Right. But I think if we could see what Bryce Young is this season and see improvement from our younger players, I think that's all we can really ask for at this point. I know I don't want to set the expectations so low, but again, I feel like I'd rather be happy knowing with what the team is going to accomplish rather than, hyping this coaching staff up, saying they're elite, saying they're this and that. Again, Canales is a first-year guy. I think his first year is all about building the foundation, setting the ground for what a culture change looks like, and I think he has the ability to do that. He seems very intelligent, and I just want to see what Bryce Young can do with one coaching philosophy. I've been saying it, the 18th ranked offensive line, the 16th ranked wide receiver core. I'm not asking for top of the notch guys. I'm not asking for a top of the notch supporting cast. I just want to see him without this dysfunction. And I think that's not too much to ask for us to make a fair evaluation of him. So those are my thoughts. Give me your thoughts on all that. I know that was a little bit of a lot, but I hope you boys have a good Tuesday. And man, have a good one, boys. Keep motherfucking pounding.
Keep pounding. A lot to cover there. Tony, you want to start in any particular one of those points? Because there's a few things we could touch on.
I just would start with Dave Canales. Right.
Sure.
And we've had discussions on this podcast about not being overly optimistic, not just always wearing the rose-colored glasses and things like this. But I really think the Dave Canales hire, and this might bite me in the butt if it stinks later on, makes a lot of sense. Right. And I think it is a good hire in so many ways. Is like, unlike the Matt Rhule, who just is a college coach that has a name that was hot at some point because some stupid ass person on ESPN kept pumping it up. That, David Tepper falls in love with the shiniest object. And I still don't think that the Frank Reich, I'm still stunned that it went as bad as it did. I really am. But we were not out there. How many times did we have the conversation about this is not a destination for the top coaches, right? This isn't a place that a Harbaugh wants to come to or something like this. So you take away the most elite group of names right off the bat. And then you're flirting with these other names, as in Slowick and also Ben Johnson. I just feel like Canales is that second tier coach that also has experience in the NFL, but has the youth and then the history of just working with quarterbacks. I don't know how the Panthers really could have done much better. And that is bananas to say for a guy who's never been a head coach. So there is a lot of unknowns. There are a ton of unknowns. But I feel like there is something cool about this Canales hire. And maybe it's just me wanting to find something. But he worked with Pete Carroll for over 10 years. You know, it's not like he is completely wet behind the ears.
No, and he was trending upward every single year. I mean, yeah, he was only an offensive coordinator for 1 year, but the results don't lie. I mean, he's been around highly successful people his entire life, and it's clear that David Tepper and Dan Morgan felt like he had a vision for this team and that he knew how to build upon that vision. And Tony, by the way,
and to add to that too, just real quick, is that Morgan, I think that the Morgan piece might be important in thinking about this because Dan Morgan was in Seattle and so he had a history with him. And it really made me feel cool or Dan Morgan has really started to put his fingerprints on this team. And I think the Canales hire is the first. You know, so I felt like this is something that Dan Morgan was saying, look, I believe that let's not get overly crazy about I mean, yes, we'll interview those people, we'll do this, but this guy, I know him. I think there might be something there. I feel like this is a Dan Morgan moment for Dave Canales. And my last thing about Dave Canales, I go back to you, I'm sorry to interrupt you, is I usually am suspicious of people that are always like this happy.
Right.
But I have, and Bryce Young was one of those people. It's like, gosh, this guy, is this going to get annoying? We're fucking living in the trenches of World War I, and this guy's fucking talking about, look at the sun shining today. But I actually know people in my life who are truly like this. And it's not fake. Like it's like they keep it like it's just them.
Yeah,
and
it always makes you wonder,
people.
Why is this person so happy all the time? Like, what is it that's keeping them like that?
But there are a few people in the world where it's real.
Yeah, for some people it's natural. And I think some of our fans are some of those types of people that will just find a way to look at the bright side, which ultimately I think is a good thing. But something that Anthony touched on too, that I wanted to bring up from his call is the insistence upon taking a wide receiver with one of those two picks. And we sort of argued about this a little bit last Tuesday, Tony. But this conversation has continued to move forward. We've been doing a mock draft every Friday, free for all, where we sort of wrestle with this question, depending upon who's on the board. But I don't know who wrote this, but this is about the Panthers having more than one hole that needs to be filled on this roster other than wide receiver. And the title of it is Wide Receiver Isn't Panthers' Only Major Need Entering the 2024 NFL Draft. The Panthers did a swell job in coverage last season during defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero's first campaign on the job. Despite suffering through several injuries in the secondary, Evero's unit endured, even as the offense torpedoed the entire team into the ground. So it'd be easy to just lean on Evero's system and push the cornerback unit down on the list of Panthers' needs heading into the draft. But the reality of the situation is a tad more dire. In fact, it could be agreed that the cornerback room is in the worst shape on the Carolina Panthers depth chart than wide receiver. While the Panthers landed a legitimate upgrade at wideout, acquiring Deontay Johnson, Carolina's solution to the cornerback dilemma is a bit more open-ended. The team signed cornerback Dante Jackson in free agency, or Dane Jackson,
whoever that
in
is.
free agency to fill one of the spots left behind by Dante Jackson and CJ Henderson. While Dane Jackson has plenty of starting experience and familiarity with Morgan from their shared time in Buffalo, there is still a hole to fill at a very important spot, and that's super important.
We got I don't know if we did it. This is excerpt from Mike K on Charlotte Observer. So you guys go and subscribe. You can get access to Charlotte Observer and the Raleigh Observer and all their subsidiaries for like $3 a month, guys, and help these guys. Look, look, I was paying $17 a month for at one point, and I called up. I was like, I can't do this anymore, and they gave me $3. So go help these beat writers continue to have jobs, and that's not much. Or you can help donate to the C3 Panthers podcast. But this is true, guys. Look, Cody, this is what I've been telling you about the sexy position. The position, the skill position is what everybody wants to talk about at this point in the draft, right? It's not fun talking about the Panthers drafting a corner that nobody knows anything about any corners in college football right now, right?
Oh, no, you don't know, but the Panther fans know there's a few at the end of this draft.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine, but there's no.
Hey, how about this, Tony? There's a white boy. His name is.
I want us to have an all-white draft,
dude. His name is. Don't say that. His name is.
No,
Cooper
I'm fine
Deshaun.
to say it. If you guys could, if other people,
his name is Cooper Deshaun. He's a cornerback out of Iowa, and dude, my man had like 4 interceptions last year.
He's supposed to be like Jason Sehorn. So there hasn't been a good a white corner since Jason Sehorn, which is like in 2004 or some shit. Like it's so long ago. So this is what I want. And look, it's not a racial thing. What I mean is I just think it would be fucking silly if our first 3 picks were Luke Wilson, Lad McConkey, which we then have to call him Lad McConkey. And then we get the white corner, and it's like the great white hope. Why? I mean, look, folks. Hey, look, if you're listening to this and that bothers you, look, I don't.
Dude, we're all joking around. It's all in good fun.
I'm just teasing around. Like, it would be kind of silly, wouldn't it? Is like this would be.
But isn't it also, Tony, like there's an era of like pulling for the white cornerback is like pulling for the guy in a race with a limp. It's like you don't see too many of them, man.
I heard Doug Gottlieb talking about this the other day. Is like, and what he was talking about, and I'm going to botch it all, but it was something to the effect of is that it's clear that black athletes dominate basketball, right? But there are white athletes that have elevated their game,
right,
to keep up.
Well,
and that's not a race. But the thing is this, like, you can't just completely dismiss it. It's like become another, and he wasn't trying to say it was like racism. He wasn't saying this is not reverse racism. It's just like you can't only think because this player is that they can't ball.
Yeah, dude, it's like saying that way back in the day when people thought that black men couldn't play quarterback. How stupid was that? Right? So now we're in the day.
There aren't any white corners though.
It doesn't matter what color your skin. You can play whatever position you want to. Even, by the way, even Christian McCaffrey, him being a running back up until a few years ago, that was
what about the cool thing that was going around? Do you remember there was a football player that said something about and he made it from the other side racial, and then they had fun making the Pro Bowl, the white versus black Pro Bowl team. The guy from Bussin' with the Boys did it. Yeah. And he's like, and he said, we're going to need McCaffrey to play running back and safety.
Say goodbye to your credit card rewards. Greedy corporate mega stores, led by Walmart and Target, are pushing for a law in Congress to take away your hard-earned cash back and travel points to line their pockets. The Durbin-Marshall credit card bill would enact harmful credit card routing mandates that would end credit card rewards as we know it. If you love your credit card rewards, tell your lawmakers, hands off my rewards. Tell them to oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill.
Philip has just lost the respect of the youth league football team he coaches. He was asked what New England should do in the draft, and his answer was objectively terrible. The Athletic just wrote a great article about this, but Philip doesn't have the Athletic or the respect of a boisterous group of 11-year-olds who once looked up to him. Learn from Philip's error, get the Athletic, and get the info you need to speak draft fluently.
and
like he's got to play both sides of the ball and stuff like this. Now, I will tell you this, folks, is who cares about race or anything like this, is if you want to know how hard it is to play corner, is go into your backyard and set 2 cones up 8 yards apart and backpedal. And then go do it again. And then go do it again.
Tony, you could make me if you tried, dude.
I know you.
Yeah,
you would be like that. You'd be so smooth, bro. Your hips.
My chair does not make that sound, motherfucker. How dare you?
Your hips wouldn't even. You have the smoothest hips when you're in your back roll.
Yeah. And
but what I'm just saying is this: is backpedaling is so difficult on your hamstrings. First of all, like it's so. To think of what these corners have to face against these fucking wide receivers who are running full steam, it's incredible. That's why you look at J.C. Horn and you go, "This motherfucker could be."
That's
like,
insane that someone has
hard.
the ability to do that. It's one of the hardest positions in all of sports to play.
So Tony, back to the comment though.
One day you said that playing home base and or what was it, catcher?
Yeah.
And baseball is one of the hardest positions. I think corner is truly one of the hardest fucking positions.
It's tough. That's why they pay them bugs on the island. It's really hard. Is like, so anytime I go to my trainer, like we do these circuit exercises different every time. Anytime we do these cone drills, A, I realize I'm 42. B, I realize I'm Italian. C, I realize I got the tightest fucking hips in the world. D, I realize I'm heavy footed. But when you backpedal, bro, it is so hard. You got to get low in your stance. Like if you want to try to be quick, it takes so much on your hamstrings. You know what I'm saying? Like the muscle, it's a really, really fucking difficult thing to do. Just that backpedal. Then you talk about the fluidity of the hips and all of that. I agree. It's got to be one of the most difficult positions to play. But going back to this discussion by Mike K about let's not get hyper focused entirely on wide receiver. That's what I've been trying to tell you guys. That's what we argued about last week, Cody, is that it's too easy to just go, we need a receiver. We got a lot of holes other places. But I do think the Panthers are truly hoping and praying that J.C. Horn has one healthy season.
I do too, but even without J.C. Horn, you're still going to need more guys. That's why a lot of people were very hopeful about the potential of signing Stephon Gilmore, which would be a big position of need for us. And both of those dudes, Gilmore and J.C. Horn, have their own injury history. So to have another young corner in the early second round, yeah, that would be big time for us. But I feel like there's a 3-way tie, Tony, where 33 and 39 could be either of 3 positions. I legit think it could be a wide receiver. And in fact, if I'm a betting man, I still think one of those 2 picks is going to be a wide receiver.
It would kind of be silly.
Hold on, let me finish the thing. I think the other 2 positions that are right up there as being the most possible of being drafted is center, which there are a few good center prospects that would be there. You've already spent so much money on the offensive line between Hurst and Gabe, I forget his name, the other guy that we signed at left guard, that to add another center.
Hunter?
Gabriel Lewis. No, the Robert Hunt was the right guard. Is it Gabriel Lewis or Damian Lewis?
Damian Lewis.
Damian Lewis is our left guard. Then Austin Corbett doesn't have much of a history at that center position, so you might not be able to trust him.
No Cade Mays at center?
No, I don't think any of those dudes are super trustworthy.
I agree.
Right.
Okay,
then we get to the final position, which, as you mentioned, is corner, and how
you're missing one too. There's another one.
Linebacker.
Yeah,
but
Peyton Willis guy is sitting there, and you don't pick him. Isn't that his name, Peyton Willis? Something Willis, Wilson, whatever that guy is. If you don't pick him and he passes by, you might be kicking yourself in the ass.
Yeah. No, I'm 100%.
I think this is the only reason I think that we really have a shot at picking. Not shot. I think that it's hard to believe or bet against the Panthers not taking a wide receiver at either 33 or 39 is because of all the talk I've heard about how great this class is. And then you're going to get 6 quarterbacks that go or whatever, or 4 so there are guys that should be top 25 picks that might be sitting there at 33 at wide receiver.
Yes.
That's the only real reason I believe that it's like firmly set. I think center's too early at 33 and 39, Cody. I think you might try to wait.
Too early? Why?
Yeah, I think you try to wait till the 3rd round.
Well, why wait until the 3rd round when you've gone out of your way so much to?
Because if you can get the player, then you don't overdraft them. I think they're going to be worried about overdrafting a center.
Speaking of, go ahead, Sika. Well, let me mention this, and then Sika kind of add this to whatever you were going to say. This kind of leads to what I was talking about. When you've put so much effort into rebuilding your O-line, they did 2024 pass protection expectations based off of last year's number for all of our projected starters. And the Panthers theoretically could have the 5th ranked offensive line right now in terms of pass protection numbers. So, man, if our free agents are able to live up to the hype, this could be a big deal for us.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, I mean, at the end of the day, I can't agree more. If we miss, I do think that we are afraid of overdrafting, and I think that is a direct reflection of what happened with Bryce Young.
And free agency too. You put a lot in the offensive line. I think that would be. How about this, Cody? Is that if we pick a offensive lineman that you think could play center or play guard or whatever I'm not going to be upset. I won't be upset. Right. I'll be a little surprised, to be honest. I think because you allocated so much in free agency to the offensive line, I think they're looking, and I think they got to draft a defensive player there at some point. One of those 2 picks have to be a corner or linebacker. I just can't believe that you're going to draft 2 offensive players right there when you didn't allocate any money in free agency to the defense, when the defense has so many fucking holes and question marks. One of those players has to be defensive.
I think so.
Has to be. I'm sorry. Like I think it would be malpractice almost. And the problem that really bugs me about this is that the Panthers put 8 picks into a defense just 4 years ago, and only one of them fucking matters.
I'm also of the mindset that, and I've said this on record before, man, nobody expects the Panthers to be a great team in 2024. I would rather they upgrade and update the offense as much as possible. So, Tony, well, I hear what you're saying, that they need to add another piece to the defense, be it at corner, be it at linebacker. Dude, I think if you added a center and a wide receiver to this offense and just dedicated this offseason to building around Bryce in such a way that you're actually able to evaluate him this year, to me, that's the best thing that the Panthers could do.
I think that's one player.
I don't mind if they cheap out on the defense a little bit.
We already have.
If it's in the name of supercharging this offense, I'm okay with maybe having to wait until the 3rd or 4th round to draft a corner or a linebacker.
I agree with you in principle, but I don't think that's what the draft is for. I don't think the draft is truly about evaluating Bryce Young. I think getting those guards is about evaluating Bryce Young. I think getting Deontay Johnson is about that. Yeah, adding a great one good rookie wide receiver would help. But adding a rookie set, that's not really going to help evaluate Bryce Young. Right? That's a long-term. The draft is the long-term plan. So I feel you, and I agree with you. And I think we did cheap out on the defense ultimately in free agency. Not cheap out, but we put our eggs in the offensive basket. JP says that the defense got the most signings. Well, they might have gotten the most.
We signed the safety. We signed the defensive tackle.
Yeah, they might have gotten the most. They got them numerically. They might have gotten the most signings, but they didn't get the most investment. The defense didn't get the most investment in money. They might have had to get more players because there weren't any fucking players.
But he's just saying that they signed more defensive players than any
right,
other
but we
player.
allocated the free agency was clearly allocated to these two guards. The money went to these two guards, and then now to Derrick Brown. We can't say that getting whoever this fucking safety is from the Rams matters. I mean, the best potential signing we had on defense was fucking Jewel.
And by the way, I also disagree with you. If you get a center like Jackson Powers out of from Oregon, I think that would be a day one starter for the offense.
So you think you're going to start him over Austin Corbett?
Yeah, I don't think that Chandler Zavala. If you're spending him at 33 or 34,
you think you're starting him over Austin Corbett right away?
Yeah, because
silly.
he has
silly.
more experience at the center position than Corbett does. Corbett has never played center meaningfully ever. Like, he might have played
NFL fucking player.
It doesn't matter. He's never played. He has never for one season dependably played center.
It matters.
If you're thinking that it's as easy as saying Austin Corbett is our center for 2024 without providing any sort of competition, I think that's foolish. I think center is one of the most important positions of need moving into the draft, and I think they would start whoever that player was.
I think you can get that player in the third. But hey, look, I don't care about it. I think the Panthers go one offensive player and one defensive player in those two picks.
Well, look, I'll tell you one thing for sure. Listen, I don't care what other podcasts are telling you. The Panthers are going to draft a wide receiver. They are going to draft a wide receiver.
In those picks?
With one of those two picks, one of them is going to be
a what all the podcasts are telling you. That's the most standard thing of what the whole media is. How many
other podcasts do you watch? I'm just hearing through the grapevine that other podcasts are saying we might not even take a wide receiver in the second round, and I don't buy that at all.
Let's bring this up, and then I'll play the next call. Is
the next slide?
No, I was thinking about this. Is since we're talking about the draft, one of the things that the C3 Panthers podcast can be proud of, or I'm proud of. I'm proud of a couple of things. I'm proud of the Ice Up picks. I love the Ice Up pick segment, longest running segment on longest running podcast. I'm proud that I've done this podcast without interruption for over a decade. Just longevity. Proud of that. But the one other thing that I was proud about, but then COVID hit, is I had the C3 Fantasy Football League that people thought was bananas, that there were 48 teams, and I had to sell it, but it really works and it's awesome, and everybody had so much fun. I got to bring it back, but I got to get a good t-shirt first. I'm most proud though of the C3 Panthers draft party.
Yes, sir. That's my first ever episode.
Yeah. And we started this in a time before watch-alongs existed. Right? I mean, like, watch-alongs are a thing now that are normal. Like, we'll get together, people watch the football game to watch this. But I told somebody, and people were like, come on, you want to watch the draft virtually? I was like, fuck yes, let's hang out and watch the draft. So we started this, and we kept doing it, and we've done it the first year was the Kelvin Benjamin pick, 2014. Tony Dunn has gotten hammered on this. I've fallen asleep at one point.
Yeah, you fell asleep one year.
One year. And then we had some late picks at one point.
Yes.
But I did not expect to run into a year where we didn't have, where I don't say I wouldn't expect it. I never thought you just go, we're going to do the draft party. We're going to do the draft party. This year, we don't have a first round pick. Well, I'm not ready to cancel this. We're going to have a little huddle right now between you, myself, and CK and the audience. I don't want to cancel the draft party, but I think this year what we should do is make Friday the real C3 party. Like the bigger party, the giveaways, the fun, the guests that we bring in. Like, while we can watch round one together and maybe the Panthers trade up, maybe something.
Let's make it a 2-night event.
It's always a 2-night event. But what I'm saying
but
is
we'll have one night and
energy goes into Friday. 2 picks in the first 7. Come on, we got to be giving away half.
Or we give everybody to sign up for whatever we're going to give away on Thursday, and then we announce the winner on the Friday night.
Okay. CK, have you heard?
I agree. And normally I do some work for Draft Tech.
Our big party though this year. And
normally I do some work for Draft Tech on that night, but this year I'm all about.
Well, you got the second round. Now you don't have to worry as much. It's second round. It's not.
I know, but I'm saying normally I help them on the website write picks for other teams. But
CK, did you hear what
I'm saying?
Trying to do a 2-night thing.
Well, we've always done a 2-night. We always do the second night as kind of like, somebody will say, we need to do this. We need to do this. And we'll get up here and we'll talk for a little while.
I think we should remember us ever doing a day 2.
We've done day 3 shit. I think we should make Friday our biggest party though. That's what I'm saying, because we have 2 picks in the first 7 or whatever it is.
We do have to be prepared for whatever reason if they did use those 2 picks to trade up into the first round.
Or what if they trade back? I'm gonna fucking be so mad,
dude. Or well, I mean, if they do, even if they do trade back, it just means that we're on the pod longer, waiting for the moment to happen.
I know.
So.
But on top of that, too, if they trade back, we're not talking about like it's the first round where it's, a 10 freaking minute, between picks.
Right.
Situation. It's, I think they switch it to like a
5 minutes or something.
5 minute. And, that way it's not nearly as long. So it'll go by a little bit quicker. Yeah. And we can, the day 2 is the next 2 rounds, right? It's round 2 and round 3, and then day 3 of the draft is the rest of the rounds, right?
Right, I believe so. So I just wanted to bring that up. We're still gonna do the Thursday party, but I'm not gonna overinvest in the Thursday show. I'm gonna invest my super energy and preparation into Friday. I think that's what I want. This might be the year we get to just kind of chill on the first round. Do you know how much work it is bringing the guests in, keeping a conversation going for 3 hours? Well,
yeah, so but the fans think that it's worth it, and then
we're doing it. We're doing it. I just think that Friday is going to be our party.
No, I agree. And by the way, this time I'm going to be the one getting fucked up, and you can't stop me, dude.
Good.
And I'll do it live on
you
this
drank
show.
some Heinekens before?
Oh, dude, I'm gonna be drinking
Let's
more.
take
than
some
Heineken,
mushrooms and watch that shit.
Hey, man, I got all. Well, let me not say too much.
Hey, legal ones, legal. They're legal.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, listen, man, Vegas Drew, who's been on the free for all the past few weeks in a row. We appreciate you, Drew. Says, put the $5. Dream scenario: Cooper DeJean drops to 33. Sign Gilmore at 39. Get Lad McConkey. Oh shit!
Who's Cooper DeJean?
That's the white boy from Iowa, the corner.
Do you think he's really going first round?
Yes, and dude, he has like a crazy wingspan. He ran like a 4.42. He jumped 39 inches. Dude, he's like legit corner. Okay, him and Nate Wiggins out of Clemson are the two best corner prospects in this year's draft, and maybe Kool-Aid McKinstry. And yes, his name
Kool-Aid. His real name is Kool-Aid.
Is it real? Well, yeah, or it was changed at some point. But Kool-Aid is his name.
What do you think about that?
What about the name Kool-Aid or that he's the one of the best?
No,
dude, I'm happy. The name can't be silly enough.
There's an urban legend of these two twins that were born in Pitt County. I don't know if this is true or not, but it's been floating around for 15 years. They said their name was Lamangelo and Orangelo. It was lemon jello and orange jello. Was how anyway. Kool-Aid. You know what, man? I hope we get Kool-Aid, baby. Busting through the wall. Do you think those will make some great t-shirts? Let's go to Chase from Anderson.
Let's do it.
What's up, guys? It's Chase from Anderson. Ain't really a whole lot to talk about at the moment, but the draft is coming up with another couple of weeks or so. But for 33, and it's got to be a receiver or a center. If one of the two top centers is there, I'll take one of them two, or whichever top receiver is remaining at 33. Edge rusher. This edge rusher class is weak, really weak. You got one or two decent guys, and the rest of them is just a drop off. I'm not impressed with the edge rusher guys. Corners, you got three? That's three, maybe four at the most. It's worth taking in the top 2 rounds, and most of the 2 or 3 of those, or all 4, would be gone in the first round. And it's obviously either center. I think it's going to be their first choice if one of the 2 top centers are available at 33, and 39 you go pure best available. And I do not want to hear this trading down stuff. I absolutely can't stand the trade down people, because the roster is not great. You need quality players. Well, we get more picks and more throws at the dartboard. Well, you know what? I'd rather have 1 or 2. I'd rather have the 2 good players, contributors, than take a quote shot in the dark at some most likely just special team players that may not even stay on the roster after a year. You know what I mean? There's 33. There's going to be somebody that unexpectedly drops, right? And I don't want to hear these people, well, that might be one of the quarterbacks there, and these quarterback needy teams might want to trade. I keep 33 and 39. I don't give a crap about extra 4th round or 3rd round picks. Come on now. Stick with the 33 and 39. I really don't care to trade up either, unless the only way I would trade up is if there's a top 10 or 15 player that's guaranteed hits that drops down to 25, and you want to package.
Oh, I don't want to trade up at all.
Current picks this year's current picks to move up, but not too much. But I'm more in favor of just staying put at every pick. I don't care nothing about trading down. I don't care about getting more picks. We got plenty of picks. All right, cool.
What do you think about trading down? What are the pros and cons against that right here? I think he brings up a lot of great points.
No, well, so we were just mentioning it. Like we just mentioned 2 to 3 different positions that we could realistically draft around that area. You said corner. You also said linebacker, Peyton Wilson, who many people think should be the pick. Now, again, he has some injury history.
Sure.
He's blown his ACL 2 times before. All of these players have their pluses and minuses. And if you have a board where you think a wide receiver is going to be there, you think maybe you'll be able to grab another offensive lineman. Maybe you even grab another tight end, which I think is another scenario that you haven't given much thought to, which I know you hate. But a big, strong tight end might be just what the doctor ordered for Bryce Young. And it was announced that Jatavian Sanders, big, strong tight end, who most people have as tight end 2 in this draft, has a visit with the Panthers. So that could be on the docket. If there's a bunch of guys that are on the board, you might be able to rack up and fill out a few more of those holes on your team, like center, like corner, like another offensive lineman. It just depends on how you play the board. Yeah, by moving backward a little bit instead of getting a wide receiver and a corner, you might be able to get a corner, a wide receiver, and a tight end if you're able to play that
I'm interested in.
Sure.
That I'm interested in is like, can you get that center that you wanted, that you were almost willing to take at 39? Can you get him at 47 and get another player? Right. So I'm more interested in trading back that 39 pick, maybe even the 33. Somebody in the chat said you're going to be upset we're not picking at 33. We're going to trade back and have the 39. I don't want to trade both of them. Number one.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What if we traded our first 2 draft picks this year and for a second this year and a first next year?
Say that again.
So if we traded 33 and 37 for maybe like pick 50 and a first round draft pick next year, because that would be a team getting 2 early round for second round picks, and which I would equate that.
I think
to
I would need more. And what I would think I would say need more, CK, is that the first round is tempting. I think we just couldn't move that far back. If you're moving that far back in the second, then I think you got to cop us a third 2 or something this year. Like, we can't walk out of this draft with not enough to grow in the immediacy. So I don't mind the idea of like, hey, we'll fucking play that 33 for a first next year. Actually, that's actually what you would do, is you would say this: are you willing to trade up to 33 and our third for your first next year?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I would say. But we got to keep that 39 if I'm going to do that. Cody, I'm okay with us trading back on one of those picks, not both. I'm also, but I think the caller brings up some great points too. Is just
that's what I think
pick some players too. Just pick some players, because everybody was here just fucking celebrate. We were just sucking Scott Fitterer's, you know what, because he had traded back and accumulated all this shit, and we didn't get anybody out of it. So I do think, though, I'm on. Look, that's why I wouldn't want to pick a center at 39, man. Is I think you could get them, and now I'm breaking.
Yeah, but Tony,
rule.
again,
I'm breaking my own rule.
No, I gotta step to you, man, because I feel like you only do this based on your own perceived value of certain positions. Like, you're never ever gonna want to take a tight end earlier than then the 4th round,
third.
So even a center, you're not going to entertain. I mean, I think
that's an offensive lineman. That one's tempting.
There are always a few positions that you're like, nah, you can find them later. But Tony, if you're looking at their film, which, by the way, speaking of film, for $1.99 every week from here up until the draft, we're putting out a video that's just for our paid subscribers for $1.99 a month, where we look at film from a bunch of different draft prospects that the Panthers could potentially be drafting at pick 33 and 39. So if you would like to check that out, consider joining for $1.99 a month. But Tony, when you go through the film, you can see the case to be made for so many of these different positions.
Sure.
At wide receiver, at corner, and look, another one that we haven't even mentioned yet. Is edge defender. I think there's going to be some guys that are going to be available around that time at edge or even at the defensive tackle position.
So what am I saying wrong? I'm okay with all that. I'm okay with all that.
I'm saying, to me, it doesn't matter the position.
If we
value.
pick a tight end in the top 40, I'm going to be mad. I'm sorry. If we pick a tight end in the top 40, I will be fucking irate.
But look how important a tight end is for all the quarterbacks that are currently being successful in the NFL. Okay, Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes.
Who's Josh Allen's tight end?
They all have high level.
I don't even know who Josh Allen's tight end is.
Dawson Knox.
Okay. I would say this is that I think you're using there's 4 tight ends in the league that are fucking difference makers. 4, 5.
I mean,
there's no more than 6.
But the level to which they elevate the game of their quarterback, when there is a dependable tight end to be
You're using the most exceptional examples.
If you think of all the best quarterbacks, the best quarterbacks playing right now have
who's the tight end for the Chargers?
Option.
Who's the tight end for the Chargers?
Well, they're probably going to draft Brock Bowers this year. Now that they have Jim Harbaugh, they're probably going to draft Brock Bowers, who is the best tight end in the draft. Mahomes and Kelsey, that's easy. But George,
the Lions kid is really good as a rookie.
Brock Purdy, the Lions kid. That's with Detroit. But you also have Mark Andrews, who has been one of the bigger weapons for Lamar Jackson throwing the football. And, dude, are you going to forget about what Greg Olsen meant to Cam Newton? Why can't Bryce Young have his own safety valve at tight end to be able to bail him out of scenarios, man? A blocker and a receiving option? That's a 2-for-1. What do you mean, man? That might be what the doctor ordered, man. That might be the middle ground that we're looking for. Tight end.
Okay. I have heard this every fucking year.
And how has the Panthers been every year?
No, I won't say for the Panthers.
Yeah, we never draft.
I'm talking about how these tight ends are going to change the fucking game. How they're going to make a team crazy different. And I don't remember. Where was Mark Andrews drafted? So I think this is like the only guys that you referenced to me. The Detroit guy was high up, sort of high, second, third round or something like that, second round. Maybe he was a first round because they had 2 first-round picks. But all these tight ends that you're telling me that are fucking incredible, nobody was saying they were incredible when they came into the league. All the incredible tight ends that people said were going to fucking change the game ain't done shit.
That's not even true.
True. It is true.
That's not even
OJ Howard, Kyle Pitts, Jake Butt. Who was the guy that went to?
It's hilarious that you mentioned Jake fucking Butt.
Yeah,
that's a guy that dude.
Yeah,
Jake Butt,
that's how they were talking about him in 2014. Dude. That's how they were talking about him. The other guy was the dude that went to the Chargers. He plays with the Patriots now. and everybody said he was going to be the fucking most
Hunter
incredible.
Henry?
Yes. All of these guys that everybody, how about this? Even with Greg Olsen, you guys don't remember. Greg Olsen was drafted in the first round, not the same year, I think, as Luke Kuechly, maybe. It was the Maurice Claiborne draft, because I remember Joe wanted Maurice Claiborne. We wanted Maurice Claiborne so bad because we needed a corner. And I think we went Luke Kuechly that year.
That was 2012.
I think that was the Olsen. And so Olsen goes as a high pick.
He might have been drafted in 2010 by the Bears, right?
I think it was 2012. I could be wrong. Because he came to the Panthers in 2012. Yeah, I'm definitely wrong.
AP says Olsen was 31.
2007. Okay.
Yeah,
it was Maurice Claiborne, I think, was in that draft. Or maybe that was the Luke Kuechly draft. That might have been Luke. Anyway, Joey loved Greg Olsen. I remember Joey loving Greg Olsen. And then he went to the Bears and didn't do anything. And not because of him, because of the team. And we were able to steal him in a trade. I just think I cannot. I'm sorry. I'm not going to get behind the tight end. Sorry. The only tight end I'm getting behind is the females. Hey-yo. Alicia Silverstones. No, I just don't. All right. I mean, you guys draft. I think that's too high. But I've also been critical of people who say you shouldn't draft somebody because it's too high in the past. Like if you believe in them, you should draft them.
Yeah, which is what I think that we'll do. But again, dude, listen, Cody Lashley's official bet is that first pick in the second round is going to be a wide receiver. And Mike K, he even put out a list of 6 receivers that fit the description that the Panthers might be looking for, of wide receivers who can play multiple spots and downfield ability. Dude, Malachi Corley, Troy Franklin, Xavier Legette, Ladd McConkey, Ricky Pearsall, and Xavier Worthy. And listen, Tony, I'm going to be honest with you. I really do think it is a possibility that they could trade up. So, for example, but hear me out. Right now, the Buffalo Bills are probably looking to add another wide receiver, especially after losing Stephon Diggs. The Chargers, but how about the Kansas City Chiefs, who now after this whole Rashee Rice nonsense, they might be looking for another
benefit
receiver. Everybody says that Xavier Worthy
that doesn't benefit us.
Because that's what we're saying.
I would trade
if you have a wide receiver that you pinpoint that you want to be a part of your option. So, for example, if you feel like Xavier Worthy is going to be a Tyreek Hill type of player for Bryce Young to be able to elevate his game, or if he would be like a Jalen Waddle, then yeah, you might want to use those picks to move up past the Buffalo Bills or past the Kansas City Chiefs to get that wide receiver to break open your offense. And I wouldn't put that past them.
I would be mad as fuck.
You would get over it.
Yes. That's the last thing I want to do is trade up right now.
You would get over it.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you would.
The only way I would get over it is that motherfucker turns out to be the beast of beasts.
I would have an issue if we had to trade our 2 second round draft picks to do it.
You would have to.
Yeah.
Do you think Dan Morgan would trade up into the first round for anything other than a dog? Come on now, man. Come on now, man.
My soundboard isn't working. Sorry.
Somebody wrote in the comments in one of the videos that they didn't like us talking about the players as animals and that they're people.
Give me a break, dude.
Well, I just wanted to say it was like, and I didn't comment because usually I'm trying not to comment on everything that is just, just let some water roll off the duck's back a little bit. But it would be like the only reason we said it was because our GM said it. Like,
Yeah,
that's the whole
literally the
shtick.
words
That's
that he
the,
was using,
that's
man.
the
Like,
shtick.
come
The
on.
reason we're leaning into the shtick is
Also, could you
because of him.
possibly look for something less relevant to complain about, man? Like, come on, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't mean. I mean, thanks for listening to the podcast. Let's take another call.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Oh, what's up, G?
G Cavassier.
G.
Hey, y'all. Hey, I don't know about you guys, but I was watching when those players came in and Dave Canales was shaking everybody's hand and everything, man. It's a new beginning in Carolina. And I like what I see. And the season hasn't even started yet, but I really, really, really like what I see. And I really like the moves that Dan Morgan has made as GM. And that Tepper has took a damn back seat. You know what I'm saying? I think he learned his lesson. Well, the draft's in a couple of weeks, fellas. And, you know, we get that second rounder. We have 2 second-round picks or whatever. And I keep hearing about that dude, Xavier Legette out of South Carolina.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he looks pretty good, man. But I tell you, another dude that I like is that dude out of Texas, man.
The Worthy kid?
Xavier, too. I think his name is like Xavier Logan or Hogan or something
Xavier
like that.
Worthy.
That boy is
Worthy.
something.
Yeah, he broke the combine record for
Georgia.
40-yard dash.
That white dude, that motherfucker boy, he looks like he's the damn truth. The only thing about that wide receiver from Georgia, he doesn't look fast to me. You know, he has good hands, but he does not look fast. And I don't know his 40 time. I really don't get caught up on the 40 time.
He ran fast. He ran like a 4.41.
Really. You know,
he's fast enough.
So give me your thoughts on that. You know, am I drinking the Kool-Aid about this season that's coming up, or do you guys feel the same way? Because I like what I fucking see, man. This looks way better than Frank Wright. And
Agreed.
I'm not even going to mention the other damn dude. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I really, really, really like what I see. And, you know, I know he's a younger guy and everything like that, but I really, really see us making some noise this damn year. I really do, man. I ain't saying we're going to the Super Bowl, nothing like that, but we're going to win more than 2 games, to tell you that shit. Keep pounding, y'all.
Kev said he ran a 4.39. If that mug ran a 4.39, then he is fast.
He's fast as fuck. He's fast as fuck. That boy's
4.4
fast,
is super fast, right? A 4.4 is super fast. It's just when you get the 4.3s, the 4, like that's just like record holding fast. That's crazy if he is that fast. G, yes, you are drinking some of the Kool-Aid. But I think this is a okay Kool-Aid to drink, though. And that is, it's okay to be happy or optimistic about the building blocks of your foundation of your home, right? Like you're getting a house built and you walk out and you see them laying the foundation. It's okay to be happy about that. When I say is the Kool-Aid might not be immediate wins or immediate happiness, right? But yeah, is like, let's sip a little fucking lemonade together and be happy about the night, the sun shining, Dave Canales dapping people up. So, Xavier Worthy, interesting name. Do you think he climbs out of? How is it that his name's still in the Panthers' reach? Because this reminds me of the John Ross year a little bit. Do you remember? All right, so in the year that John Ross broke that record, right, was a year that people said that there weren't going to be a lot of receivers taken in the first, right? Like it was all these, and all of a sudden there was a run on wide receivers when the Bengals took John Ross at like 6 or 7 or something. And then 5 of the next 10 picks were wide receivers. How is it that a guy who broke the record potentially could be sitting there at 33?
So I'll tell you how, Tony. Part of what comes with that, with him being able to run a 4.21 40-yard dash, it plays into his build. So he is a slider guy, Tony. He's 5'11", 165 pounds. And Tony, you know how last year we were talking about Tank Dell and how Tank Dell wasn't necessarily built as big and as strong as a Jonathan Mingo. But what he was able to do physically was such a big help for the Houston Texans. And I think Xavier Worthy is similar in that he has incredible speed, but people are worried about how his play strength is going to hold up in the NFL. He doesn't have the best hands. I wouldn't say Ted Ginn hands like Kev is trying to say in the chat, but he has had the occasional drop. But dude, his straight line speed and his ability to make separation running his routes is exceptional, man. But people are worried that he will struggle to create separation against physical press man corners at the next level. And so for that reason, people are having him fall a little. I also think, Tony, that they're looking at what happened with John Ross and maybe thinking that maybe he was a little bit overvalued when he was drafted by the Bengals. And maybe this is a little bit of a course correction over those same types of mistakes.
Doesn't he look like Pat Coltrane?
Yeah, I think
he looks a lot like he could be related to Pat Coltrane. In fact, when he broke the record, I tweeted Pat Coltrane. I said, Pat Coltrane just ran a 4.2.
I think he got mad at you too. I don't know if
he didn't get mad. He said that he was like gonna just love it. You know what I'm saying? But okay. Let's take the next call.
C3 Paisans, you fucking guys, how you doing?
Hey.
Yeah, it's been a minute, boys. I missed all last week. The wife had surgery on her arm, some kind of major tendon reattachment fucking shit. I've been running around like fucking crazy since she's fucking laid out and shit. But anyway, now I know how to be a nurse and wash hair like a homosexual, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, boys, kind of reflecting on what the Panthers have done. I kind of thought about it, and I was actually asked this question by a customer recently, what my opinion is on the state of the Panthers. And honestly, the shit that they did, shit Dan Morgan did, this offseason, this is shit that should have been done, in the beginning. We fucking whiffed with the Rhule thing, no shit. Whiffed with the Reich thing, no shit. But these moves, these hires, this is all shit that should have been done in the beginning. So, I mean, I think it's I think it's good shit. So this fucking guy Dan Morgan, it kind of looks like he knows what the fuck he's doing, I mean, no big splashes, but nice pieces, complementary pieces, and it just seems like they are actually trying to build something rather than throw shit at the fucking wall and see if it sticks, like we've been doing since 2017, some shit like that. Anyway, good show so far tonight. I just pulled in from the fucking gym. I gotta go eat a fucking steak, take a shower, and go to sleep. But I'll be listening, boys. All right, I gotta go.
Get that protein, post-workout protein in there. And just real quick about white chocolates. If he's got Ted Ginn, he might be Ted Ginn. But
we need another Ted Ginn.
Oh my God. Ted Ginn went in the top 5, 10.
Yeah, but dude, say what you want. Ted Ginn, he might have dropped the fucking championship with Ohio State. But he was electric for that Panthers offense for a time, dude.
That's what it was electric for.
We need it. And with the new kickoff rules.
I will say he was electric because he was the only receiver that could catch up to Cam's arm.
Man, you know how many deep balls that motherfucker dropped?
Well, hey, listen, but when he caught him, man, it was electric.
I know. You know what is? I always feel bad talking shit about Ted Ginn, but I remember the first game that I ever attended that he played for us is I was sitting up in the stands and a Dolphins fan was there. And he was just like, he said, stone hands. And that was the first thing he said, because he had been the Dolphins' top pick or whatever. But he was super fast, by the way. He was super fast. Your thoughts on our Paisan and Spartanburg? Anything you need to say before we go to the next call?
Yeah, he said that his girlfriend told him that he washes and gives a bath like a homosexual. And I told him on Twitter to Paisan because this girl had a surgery, so he had to wash her and take care of her.
He was too gentle?
Well, no, apparently he.
I
took that to mean he did a great job. You know. I don't know.
Okay. All right. All right. So I'll make this conversation weird. Not that one, but I do want to talk about since we're on that Alicia Silverstone thing, is the body bags that you would love to. If you had, and not like in a weird. Well, actually, let's just take the next call.
I have no idea where this
Wake
is
up
going.
Espresso, fresh off of work. Let me give you my thoughts.
What up, boy?
If we're going receiver, which I don't want to do, I really don't. I'd rather go center, linebacker, or center, corner. But if we're going receiver, they're going to draft Xavier Legette. I think it's already a lock if they're drafting a receiver. They sent so many people to his pro day, like a ridiculous amount. Like, I think they're in love with this dude. Not only are they in love with him, Bryce Young's dad loves him. He talked about he wants Xavier Legette with his son. So I think if we do draft a receiver, I think it's him. And, you know, as far as Cody goes, Cody, stop mock drafting Will Shipley to this fucking team. He is not going to be a fucking Panther.
Fuck you! You can't make me asshole.
Around here.
Never drafted one.
That Will Shipley. Are you kidding me? Will Shipley, man. Peace.
Dude, if we draft Xavier Legette, he better be good, because if he's bad and you have to listen to that, they will never put him in front of the mic if he's bad. Isn't he the one with the crazy country drawl?
That's Xavier Legette.
Legette.
So
that's what
Xavier.
I said.
Xavier Legette is out of South Carolina.
Right. So it's like, if we draft him, he better be good, because if he's not, they ain't ever giving him the mic.
But no, one, fuck you, Kev. I would draft Will Shipley as many times as I want to. If anybody looks at Will Shipley's film and you tell me that you can't see a role for that guy in the Panthers offense, you don't know ball, stupid. What's up?
Oh, God. It's 11-11. It's my it's my born moment. I was born at 11-11 on 11-11. So now we're going to take the conversation where I want to go. But I was talking about this is I want to go off topic, off football. And so like the 13-year-old Tony, that Alicia Silverstone, at first I'd love to go back and change and tell myself you should have been looking at Liv Tyler instead of Alicia Silverstone. But who are some of those people that you just love? I mean, we have all of those people, say the hall pass people, right? But I think that's a weird. I don't think that's the way to think about it, because Elizabeth Hurley is at the top of my list, right? That's the teenage MILF Tony look right there. Katie Holmes. I would get down with Nicki Minaj. That's that's one for me. And another
are we just talking about crushes right now?
Yeah.
Or like,
yeah.
Oh,
Just for a moment. Who are some of those Alicia Silverstone type people?
My girl, Tatiana Ali from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, played Ashley.
White chocolate. Kev said you're a crush with Tom Hardy.
Ashley, let's see. Yeah, Topanga from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I mean, from
too young.
Boy Meets World. Yeah,
I'm thinking more of the women that you were coming into. Actually, that sounded terrible.
The women you were coming. Well, I wasn't coming into
the women. I'm hoping to come. Trying to think. Carrie Russell is one of my top. Do you know who she is?
Yeah,
she was in The Americans.
Yeah, I mean, I know the name. Yeah.
CK, you got any loves?
No, dude.
Stop.
It was Lizzie McGuire, bro. It was Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah.
Who?
Lizzie McGuire, dude. Hillary Duff, bro.
Hillary Duff,
Hillary
man.
Duff. Oh, see, that's the young kids.
She got a fat ass too, man.
Okay. My wife. Hey, no, that's what I just did that for.
I thought you were gonna say your wife was into Johnny Depp. You know, Johnny Depp.
No, no, Johnny Depp.
Jennifer Love Hewitt. That's a great one. What was the chick from I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry?
Jessica Alba.
Jessica Biel.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right. Look at Kev. Kev said his stepmother. How about that? I'm turning the joke back at you, asshole.
Oh, you're weird as fuck, boy.
He said, which that is great. There's this King of Queens episode. What's his name? Kevin James.
Yeah.
And they're
Leah Remini.
Yeah, the Italian girl.
Yeah.
So they're in bed and they're having that discussion that every married couple has, which is, okay, who's your one hall pass? Right? Like, and the wife is going, oh, is it Ben Affleck? Is it, she's going, it's like Harrison Ford or whatever. It's like she's going back and forth. She can't switch. She flipping back and forth. And then finally she says, okay, it's this. He says, that's your final answer? And she's like, yes. And she goes, and he doesn't say anything else. He goes, well, who's yours? And he goes, the girl that does your nails. And then rolls over. Jenny McCarthy was great. Was she the one who was with Dennis Rodman back in? Was that her?
Oh no, you mean what was her name, dude?
Who was it?
Dave Navarro. She was with Dave Navarro. Carmen Electra?
Yeah. Back in the day, that was
Carmen Electra.
Yeah.
Dude, there's some good ones in the chat. Eliza Dushku, she was such a cutie. Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of others too that just need appreciation. What we're just doing is appreciating beautiful women at this moment. That's it.
Yeah, we're men.
As being a kid and watching Alicia Silverstone in Crazy, you're like, God, that's like the epic. She's 3 years older than me, right? So you're 13, she's 16 in a music video. Jessica Alba, Promise, bro. A, love that. B, mine, I don't want to say it aloud. BB though, the two letters that would start with, but BB. It's like the J. It's like,
say it. Who?
No, I'm not gonna say.
Just say it.
It's not.
Don't be a pussy. Say it.
No, he said Brianna Banks, which is. Oh, I said Brianna Banks. I just said it. I just fucking let it out. Oh, it's funny. All right. I was like, I'm not gonna say. He said Jenna Jameson. So it's JJ, and then the other, where she was the nasty Jenna Jameson, was Brianna Banks. Nasty. Kathy. All right. Oh no, actually, here would be my top. Would be or one of my top would be who's Tom Cruise's first wife?
Katie Holmes.
No, first wife.
Nicole
Redhead, Irish.
Kidman?
Yes.
Nicole Kidman.
Oh my goodness
she never
gracious.
did much for me though, man. I don't know.
Or she was, and then there's the other one, which was who was in the movies with Michael Douglas. The God, what was she? She was blonde. The one Basic Instinct. Kim Basic? No.
Yo, I like my man Poppins, Alexis Texas. Real
now they're going
real ones know Alexis Texas, man.
I don't know her. Mia Khalifa. Is that?
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Khalifa was only around for like a minute.
Yeah, no, she's into sports.
Yeah, now she's like a sports.
Sharon Stone. Thank you. Sharon Stone is was iconic for young Tony.
To get off the subject of totally hot babes for a sec, Nirvash with the $5 says, "Am I the only one who thinks Leggett is too similar to Terrace Marshall Jr. and Jonathan Mingo? They keep drafting big dudes that struggle to separate. LOL and Funches." I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people are saying Xavier Leggett is another form of Jonathan Mingo, and it is true. The route tree that Leggett runs, it's not as full as some of these other receivers in the draft. But it's also unfair to just say that it's the same player, you know? So I don't know. This has been a tough comparison that people have been making for Leggett. So we'll see.
I just think, man, it's gonna be tough to listen to them interviews, bro.
Oh, fucking who cares?
I mean,
you're gonna love it in no time. You're gonna love it.
He has to be good. It has to be good, and I hope he is. I mean, I'm just saying that shit is that he's speaking like what's that shit? There's a specific language in South Carolina that is
Geechee
Gula. Yeah. Gullah Geechee. Yeah, he's speaking in that tone.
Dude, he sounds like Bubba Gump. Shrimp stew, shrimp.
All right, here we go. We got to talk about this. Matt Rhule, Matt Fool.
Oh, do we have to listen? They're gonna ding us. It's from a fucking news station. I don't even want to hear that asshole. Okay. Is it really that important? Like, did it really drop such wonderful gems that we have to play this?
No, what he did was this: is he just was like, fucking Bill Belichick. So he was like, just what we realized is Matt Rhule don't know shit. Just comes down to he's like Bill Belichick, fucking talking complexity, but so simple. All right, how about this? Since I can't play it, let me shout out my boy at 95 Keep Pounding, at Salesman. He's a great follow on Twitter. Now, he had 2 back-to-back, what do you call it, bangers of a tweet. He said, is anyone else not shocked that Matt Rhule's mind was blown while talking football with Bill Belichick? That's like a potato talking physics with Isaac Newton. And it was awesome. Like, I mean, he's like, fucking Bill is so smart. And then at this is that he goes, the salesman says this. He said, Brian Bill says this. Belichick says there are 4 downs where an offense has the opportunity to achieve a first down. This is done by exceeding 10 yards with the ball. And then he's like, he's so goddamn smart. He makes the complicated. Anyway, go watch this Matt Rhule clip and you will be like, thank God this motherfucker. He is such a tool.
Yeah, he's pretty terrible.
He's such a tool, man.
I so don't miss him. Oh, by the way, how have we not yet mentioned Cameron Diaz? Dude, Cameron Diaz, young, prime Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
Dude, even back when she was in The Mask.
I'm sorry. It might be just, it's my.
Oh, yeah. The Mask, dude. In The Mask, like, top at toast of the town.
Cameron
It's my preference for type of lady, Lucy Liu. Come on now.
Oh, Lucy Liu.
Oh, she has some. Before she was like, she has some photos, like some photo shoots, and you're like, geez, I didn't know what I was dealing with Lucy Liu in this. Here's one for you, and for the older guys, the Weird Science chick from 1985, who was not Elizabeth Hurley. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Elizabeth Hurley. Who was this actress cast?
Drew Barrymore, since we're going to mention the
her name was Kelly LeBrock.
Yes.
All right. But they did this show too. Weird Science, the show, TV show. And this girl her name was Vanessa Angel. And she was a damn knockout then.
So, since the WrestleMania just happened, I'll mention it. Stacy Keibler. I don't know if you guys ever know who that is, but
I don't watch
yeah.
wrestling. I need to.
Dude, Stacy Keibler is an all-timer. Dude, even Stephanie McMahon was fucking.
Oh, and then we probably should
right.
just go back and look at the whole cast of Baywatch. The secondary cast was fantastic, not the main one with the giant jugs.
Pop said all the women off Price is Right.
Okay. Anyway,
Yeah, there was some bad ones.
it's not pervy. We're just sitting here. We were talking. All right, here. Look, we got a couple of calls that probably.
There's nothing more powerful and beautiful in the world than a beautiful.
The
woman.
reason I brought this up was just because of that Alicia Silverstone. She was so iconic when I was that young, and I don't find her that wildly attractive in retrospect. You know, I mean, far more attractive than I am. Also, I mean, I'm just still blown away by the 25-year-old guy that came out of the woods and his first smash was Alicia Silverstone. Still can't get it.
Ashley from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Dude, that was my first real actual crush, man.
All right.
So damn cute. All right, you ready to do some?
Yeah, we got two calls. We got these last calls.
Cody.
They said we're the Simpin podcast now.
What's going on, guys? Before Professor indicts himself,
because I what? What did I say?
I'll take those words for him. Yes, Alicia Silverstone and Clueless was smoking hot. Definitely was. The black girl who's fucking super crazy right now, she's smoking hot. She's always been smoking hot. She won't never be smoking hot. Let me see who else.
Who did he say? I didn't hear her. Did he say a black girl?
Fran Drescher, even with the fucking shitty boy.
No, Fran Drescher was. You're right. Great call.
Her story is wild, by the way.
She was a big time actress too.
No, do you know her story?
No.
And
hold up.
Hype that the fucking season's starting up right now. New season now, bro. We got fucking everybody's in training camp. We all training up. Bryce Young's over here fucking lifting weights. He's got a fucking gut on him now. He's been eating fucking cheesesteaks all fucking summer. He's been living his best life. He got that money. He's doing all right. He's gonna be fat. So now maybe his arm can get better, a little bit more accurate, and he can get his footwork so he's not so fucking quick no more. So hopefully that works. And then JC Horn looks good, man. I mean, he's always been a fucking physical specimen. But, you know, is he Mr. Glass or is he unbreakable? He has to be unbreakable this year. I mean, that's what we need. And then, I'm talking about to run out. Let me see. Angelina Jolie and Salt was fucking smoking hot. Angela Bassett.
Oh, good one.
Angela Bassett in her young days was smoking hot.
Thank you.
No.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's enough.
Appreciate it. What I was thinking is have you ever, and for me, and I know people are like, why are you talking about this? Why are you sipping? Like, it's more just about the nostalgia of thinking about old movies and when you were young, like what they kind of meant. Again, like I saw Alicia Silverstone in this movie and she's older now. She's 47. I'm 42. But I still remember that video as being so iconic, that Aerosmith video with her and Liv Tyler. The other one was my favorite Shia LaBeouf movie is what is it called? It's called he's the neighbor. God, is this Shia LaBeouf?
Disturbia.
Yes. And
I love that movie, dude.
The girl in that it was I think she was the girl from the OC.
No,
anyway,
wasn't it?
It's just the whole point of this is that it just brings you back to being a teen.
Megan Fox.
No, it wasn't Megan Fox. That was in the Transformers.
Yeah.
Her name was, I think she was in the OC. Her name. It's this girl right here. Let's see if I can pull the picture up. But like in retrospect, as a man now, like as an adult, like they're not that it's not like wildly. I mean, you're a child,
right?
But when you're a kid and you're younger and you're of that age group, you're like, oh my god, this movie. Who was?
Dude, there's another chick. There's this girl from the movie 10 Things I Hate About You. Oh, what's her name?
What is her name?
Yeah, but not the main chick of the movie. She was like the younger sister, and she was in a bunch of movies, and she was really hot.
What?
Oh,
I cannot remember
Tiffany Amber Thiessen. That's another one too.
Oh well, that was everybody's Saved by the Bell crush.
Oh yeah, but dude,
she is the one. Again, like when you're a teenager, it was Tiffany Amber Thiessen, but you really, as an adult, want to be with Jessie.
It also depends.
Jesse's the one that went and did striptease or whatever.
If you're a '90s kid like me and CK, we grew up.
Me too.
Topanga from Boy
Yeah,
Meets
see, you're
World.
after, but yeah, I'm a
Hillary
later.
From Lizzie McGuire.
Her name? Oh no, it's not Carrie Ann Moss. There's no way that. Oh, actually, I got one for you too, or one other. Her name was Sarah Romer from Disturbia. She was the wife in. Have you seen Homeland?
Yes, it's been a long time.
She was also.
That was shot in Charlotte.
She starred in V. Now this actually is one of my faves. I ain't gonna lie. Hold on. What is her name?
Yeah, we could have actually gotten out of here earlier than that.
We are. We're leaving right now. We got one last 20-second call.
We'll play that shit. Let's get the fuck out of here.
All right, asshole.
No, Tony, you're right. My spirit animal, my whole pass is Rihanna. I don't give a fuck. Rihanna's my spirit animal.
Mine is the lady across the street.
We have kids watching right now at some point. And that's my spirit animal, Rihanna. Rihanna's my spirit animal.
All right. That's it. Like, we don't really have anything else to talk about. We got to do the last segment, the Ice Up segment. Her name is Marina Bakarin. This girl is fucking gorgeous, dude. And I mean, just in her from stuff. Hold on, what is she in? Yeah. And then we'll do these Ice Up picks. She was in the show V. Ever seen this? Homeland. Gorgeous.
I mean, I recognize her
beautiful,
face.
Beautiful person. All right. Longest running Panthers podcast on the internet. Tonight we stepped outside the bounds. But who gives a fuck? It's my podcast to do whatever I want. It's our podcast. It's your podcast. You're still listening. Still watching it. Cody Lack. Let's do some Ice Up picks.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's the longest running segment on the longest running Panthers podcast. That's where we ice up someone. We tell them to toughen up, get it together. It's our homage to Steve Smith, where, again, everybody is fair game. A lot of people have been icing me up for taking this podcast in that direction. Cody Lack, what do you want to ice up today?
Listen, man, some of y'all need to leave wildlife in the fucking ocean where you found it. And listen, this dude gets hurt, and I just love the sound of his pain because, dude, you just deserve it so much if you're gonna do some dumb shit like this, dude. He picks up a stingray out of the water and decides to just hold it in his hands. Watch right underneath you, right there, dude.
Fuck with the stingray, get the barb.
You all right?
You all right?
You all right?
You all right?
Did you bite it?
Did you bite it?
Did you bite your finger?
No, he fucking barbed. What a bitch, though. Why is he going down that?
Just don't you, dude? Look at his hand. Look how far it goes in him, though.
I know it's bad, but good God.
Oh, look, that's it going
that's
in
skin,
him.
and that skin coming out.
Oh, dude.
Ow! Ah! Ah!
You all right?
Yeah, that's literally from the account. Fuck around and find out.
One of my favorites.
The idiots who want to hold on to wildlife when you shouldn't be. Yeah, you fuck around and find out, man. Ice up, son. Ice up.
CK, what you got for us?
Dude, I'm icing myself up for being so attentive on Call of Duty.
Okay, cool. It's all right. I took the shit.
Damn you.
All right, here goes my ice up. And again, all my ice up picks always come back to I don't really know who I'm icing up here.
Positive if there's music, if the volume.
No, there's no music. Well, I don't think this is. This TikTok video supposedly is of this wife finding her husband eating dinner with another woman.
Hey.
How are you?
Hi. Hi. What's going on?
Having dinner?
What's going on?
Having dinner.
Who are you? I'm a friend. Cool.
Oh, so cringe, dude.
Oh, no. Yeah, it is. I mean, there's nothing really going to be crazy that happens in this, but we got to watch it all, though.
Friend? Okay, well, I'm his wife. So, what kind of friend are you?
We work together.
We work together. Yep. Look at this bitch ass dude. I'm icing the dude up.
You know our kids tonight? We were planning on having you tonight.
You know where our kid's at? That's what she's always going to say. Fucked.
3 hours.
Did you feel bad for her? Because she has no idea.
No, she knows. She knows this motherfucker.
The blonde chick knows?
Yeah, she knows he's married. Does he got the ring on or did he take it off?
No, there's no. If he's dumb enough to have the ring on, they all deserve it.
No, I'm icing him up for being a little bitch and getting caught. Number one. Number two, for sitting there like a little. He was like this. He should have got up and been like, "Let's leave right now." He should have. He sat there like this. But you know what? I want to give her props for fucking holding the line. She didn't just fold.
No.
I'm going to tell you guys this. When you lie in this world, if you say a lie, stick to it till the bitter end. Stick to it. Now, I'm not saying you should lie. But when you put that lie out there, don't fold. And that bitch, I'll roll with her. She was like this. She ain't giving up nothing. She said, I'm a friend. And I ain't saying shit. I like her already. So ice up to that fool who looked like a little beaten ass bitch already. You got busted. God, he walked out there with the tail between. And ice up to the wife for being like this, for putting this on the internet.
I mean, if it bleeds, it leads, man. People want to shame people on the internet. That's what
I saw another video today, and it was like a woman who her husband was dying of. She was like, when your husband's dying of cancer and exercise is your only outfit, and then you start an exercise wear company, and it's like, and somebody was like, gosh, are you just fucking pimping out your dying husband? Anyway, I don't care.
Yeah.
All right. That's my ice up pick. That's the C3 Panthers podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. Joe Riolano, we love you. If you're listening, or if anybody's listening to this, please think of Joe. Do whatever feels best to you. And remember, this is a community. We love you guys. And you got to deal with Tony. That's what you got to do. Joey dealt with me. Now you got to deal with me. Cody Lack, any last words or just fucking take us out of here?
Man, I think the final words should be keep pounding, baby. C3 Nation. Till next time.
Greg is usually a fan of water cooler talk, but it's draft season, and that's all anyone wants to talk about. The Athletic has loads of articles about this year's draft, but Greg doesn't have The Athletic, so now he's filling up his water bottle in the bathroom sink. Which, to remind you, is the sink people use after they use the bathroom. Get The Athletic and get the info you need to speak draft fluently